are sad, the sky is blue, there are monsters
Egg.
in the spare bedroom. Kids grow up and move
Egg.
away. They close the plant, then the mall
Egg.
arcade. Kids are sad, the parents too. Kids get high in the spare bedroom. We grow up and move away. The seasons pass, but the monsters stay.
Egg.
Kids are sad, the sky
Egg.
is blue, there are monsters in the spare bedroom. Kids grow up and move away.
Egg. Egg.
Close the plant, then the mall arcade. Kids are sad, the parents too. Kids get high in
Egg.
the spare bedroom. We grow up and move away. The seasons pass, but the monsters.
Hey.
Rising from rocks off the cliffs by the sea, the monsters with waiting teeth, their skin shines crystalline. Rush out on an uptown train, doors open, and she walks in, she's soaking, caught in the rain, her skin shines like crystalline.
Hello? Where is game? Where is game on the screen?
Hi.
Hello? Give me a little second, everyone. Ba-dum. Oh, there I am. Oops. Oh, I did something wrong. Doing stuff in VR is hard. Okay. I killed chat! Dang it! Might not have charged my batteries. I was afraid of that myself, but mine are luckily still charged, so that's good. Anyway, let me just... Hi! That's my couch. That's my couch is over there. Alright, let me just change the music. This one, and then fucking video gaming away. Okay. Clear playlist. Is that a thing I can do? No. Okay, I'm just gonna have to restart VLC. I'll be there soon, don't worry. Media, open file. Chill. There we go. Okay. So, hi everyone. Let me go into a public version of this world so that everybody who wants to join me in game can do so. This is worlds, and then this one, and then new instance, group, Queen's Court, group. Next. Yes. Alright, so I am gonna join a public instance. If you are in the game and you are in the group, then you can join. And now I will be here. Hello. Let me go to the mirror room. That'll be fun. Hi. So, hi everyone. Welcome. This is kind of an awkward start to a stream, huh? Well, that's okay. Welcome to my last stream before my bottom surgery hiatus, which is a shame that I have to go on a hiatus, but it's a very good reason, I think. We're gonna have some fun, we're gonna explore some worlds. Oh no, the cops are here.
Hello.
Hello, cops. Put up your oh god, it's fucking- oh shit, Jesus Christ, it's a gun. I'm resistant to bullets though, it's in my game, because the protagonist from my game uses- Hello.
What is- hey!
Take y'all on, motherfuckers.
Are these people impervious to bullets?
Well, that's a Spartan from Halo, so maybe.
So no.
Well, not impervious. I'm also not impervious. I'm resistant, you know.
It is I,
Spartan.
It's the master chef.
John Halo.
No, we were
For
the.
God's sakes, why does everyone say that? I do the John everything because my boyfriend is named John and he fucking...
Love when you hold the camera like this.
I'm used to saying John everything when there's John everything.
Yeah, me too. Just the protagonist of any game, if I don't know their name, is John or Jane, name of game. Or property, honestly. It can be a book.
That, like, the thing is, though, like, I hate the fact that people do that joke to me all the time because of the helmet, specifically. On any other helmet from the Halo game, people would be like, oh, hey, a Spartan. But no, this one is just, oh, look, it's Mr. John.
Okay, I did say a Spartan. I said a Spartan. It's on. It's recorded. I am correct. I win.
Zoe passes the vibe check.
I don't know, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I made him sad. Aww. Anyway, hi. Who said hi? Who the fuck was that? Hi, Hal. Hi. How are you?
How dare you say hi? Okay.
Wow.
No, wrong. I can do it. There you go.
That is not a middle finger to me, for me.
It's not. No, it's not for me either. I can't. Nope. Ooh, that's something.
Oh wait, I look sad when I do devil horns. That sucks. Why did I build my model that way?
Why did you make yourself sad?
I don't know. We're like scared. It's scared and set. Fucking put up your jukes, motherfucker. Come on.
I'll go get.
Where am I in my physical space? Okay, hold on a second. I have to turn. I have to hold on. Stop.
Okay.
Car battery.
Okay.
Ow, fuck.
Come on then.
That's what it feels like. Okay.
Am I still in view? I'm not. Hi, I was over there. Stop. I just walk off the. I'm like moving my carpet. I should put this. I should move this carpet out of the way. Okay. We're getting distracted. Everybody, be normal. Okay. Hi. Let me reach-chat for a little bit. Congratulations on impending bottom surgery, Zoe. Soon your legs will be disconnected from your waist, ribbon style, just like your model, just like my model. I love that someone knows that detail. Hi, Transbones. I made that. Your power died? Damn, that sucks. That's not good. I hope it comes back soon. Let's see. Okay, alright, it's a little hard for me to, read chat like this, because scrolling up requires me to open the menu and everything. Anyway, okay, so, yeah, we're just gonna have some fun. Again, anyone who is like a trusted community member can join the group and therefore the sessions and have very big fun with us. Also, let me know how the audio volumes are. I think I'm pretty audible of the music, but what about everyone else? Say things, quick, say things, everyone. Good. Alright, so let me know how that sounds, everyone. I'm gonna look at the volume also. Everybody just don't say anything. Okay, now talk. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty quiet compared to the music. No. Caught it. Didn't drop it good or throw it good.
Nice
No. You're really bad at this. Nice, it was a good throw. I totally hate you with that one. I win. Let's see what's chat saying. No thanks. Also, yes, there are no eggs today because that, along with other things that require me to drag PNGs onto the screen and stuff, which is very hard to do in VRchat, or well, in VR in general. And similarly, things that are throwing stuff. I'm not there. I'm not down there. There. I'm not there. You know, so you're not gonna hit anything. Fucking cops, dude.
Why don't you have a gun?
Why are you a cop?
It's the most normal size avatar I have.
We gotta get you a new model.
Change the model size. You can
Oh yeah,
change,
you
like,
can
model
actually.
size
Yeah,
in, like,
there's a model slider, like a skill slider now.
I think.
Sick.
Okay, but do they have
So-
guns?
Also, example.
I don't know.
I
Now
want a
on
gun.
U-bot scale.
No, you can't. That's my
Wow! It's so itty bitty, chief. Look.
Oh.
God damn it.
It's a little chief. Beep boop. Beep boop boop. Beep boop boop boop. Beep boop boop. Crush your skull.
Can someone redeem car battery?
No, they cannot. It's disabled today. You cannot do that. Beep boop boop. Beep boop. Beep boop boop boop. Beep
Car
boop.
battery!
Beep boop. Oh god, car battery. See, okay, hearing you say car battery and then seeing a car battery, like, it affected me.
Power!
Oh my god, I'm Pavlov, dude.
Oh my lord.
Oh my god, it's the lawyer. It's him.
It's Bird Ray.
What? It's Phoenix incredibly correct. Scary. Johnny Large, that's his name.
Too big. Too big hearing.
Oh no. No, please don't make Wallace really big. That's scary. Don't fucking do it. Don't do it. Just please clip that someone. That's really good. I want to see what that looked like on stream. Just oh my god. I don't even have to do anything. I could just do nothing this stream and just let you guys fuck around. I don't need to do anything.
Today's content, the chat room.
the chat room. Double battery, double battery. Run into the broadcast community's room. Hold on.
Assault and rattery. I dodged it.
He wants some cheese.
I've come for the cheese.
This is gonna take our fucking cheese.
Wait. I know what I got. Wait.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Hi, you bot.
Too big.
Wait.
Yeah, you're too big.
What's
This is
What's on your head? What's that?
Derek.
Oh, that's Derek.
It's Derek.
Oh, I didn't realize Derek was so small.
Derek's little.
Apparently so.
Size compare. And here we have a size comparison.
Woo.
This is the smallest one I see ever currently.
This video arc starts when its stream ends. It's true, yeah. Once.
Almost.
See, the bottom surgery is they're gonna remove my limiters, and then I can finally you know, start my villain arc. It's gonna be really good. End of fucked up, end of a show path. That's gonna be me. Next Tuesday. Oh, fun fact also about Tuesday is that it's Tuesday the 16th of January is also my VTuber anniversary, so that's fun. It's you know, a shame that I won't be able to celebrate it on stream, but still, it's a very wonderful little coincidence that they coincide like that, you know? Which means that next year we'll have 2 things to celebrate on one day, which I think is fun. Will the hiatus end when her 3D set is ready? Probably not. I'm gonna be working on something else. I want to really like focus on Big U-Bot. Big U-Bot. Big U-Bot.
Reasonably sized.
Unreasonably sized U-Bot. Yeah, that's invisible wall over there. The castle looks like there's a lot more to it than there is right now. But one day I'll finish the fucking 3D environment. I feel like I should turn down the music a little bit more, actually.
Actually, hold on, I haven't checked for a while. Is
Let's see.
the Easter egg, the unintentional Easter Whoa,
What do you?
that's my face.
What do you strike? What did I? Oh, did I put a thing here?
Yes, it's still here.
Oh yeah, I did put that there. That's true. I forgot.
Sick.
That's a photo of my actual trans flag that I have in my apartment.
Oh, that's a solo
Jody. 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 Oh, not anymore. Okay, we're fine now. I can hear myself through your microphone. Wait, yeah, there it is. I can hear myself through your microphone, which is not ideal.
Oh god, there's two Zoes.
Hi. Oh my god. Holy shit. What a beautiful model. Jesus. Oh my god, jump scare. Fuck. Fuck. Yeah.
Or like those like little foam dinosaurs with little capsules that you put in water.
Mm-hmm. That's a really beautiful model though. What'd you say?
So things get a lot less cute when they're at a reasonable size.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Hold on. Let me get this.
What the fuck?
Okay, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just... Don't worry about it.
That is...
There's something-
That is tiny.
Aww.
Ball.
So, if I
Wait, hold
remember
on.
correctly, It's because I have its. Yeah, its size is at 0.
Jesus.
Wait, this is the smallest this thing gets?
No,
Hold on, I'm in the way,
wait,
sorry.
hold on. It might be futzing because I futzed.
Oh, that's real small!
Yeah, no, they're so straight.
Yeah. From Ghibli.
Also, it has that.
Oh, come here. I forget what's up with...
Desk sniper.
G'day.
Hello.
Hello!
Oh, what's the smallest avatar I have actually?
What?
Squish!
Now I...
Ah, God,
Oh.
fuck, not again. This is just like the clown again.
Nah, that was punching. Lego.
Wait, oh, this is a big mode.
Okay, let's... I feel like there was something... Right.
There we go.
I-
Accurate scale.
Nice. I feel like we should... Because I don't have a good photo of me and a bunch of U-bots together. I have some of them, but all of them have the U-bots not having complete faces because of VRchat nonsense. So I would like
I think
to take one.
Got it, boss.
Cool. Where do we do it? What's a good place? Does anyone know like a fun... Wait, I think there's a Mega Man Legends world. We can go to the Mega Man Legends world, because that's nice, because that's a big inspiration for my low poly style. Hmm?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Polar stars.
Make your avatar bigger.
Oh,
what is this?
Oh, good, good. You press some buttons.
Alright, my.
Oh, I love buttons. I like
Okay, you hold down the button that you use to open the menu, and then you go to expressions, and then quick actions, and then there's after hide.
Okay. After I. There we go.
There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna
My height in-
stop being big.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
fuck me. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
become normal.
What is normal really in this?
That's a good question. No, you're right. That's on me. Sorry, yeah, no. I need to think about myself, you know?
I didn't realize we had mega models of the U-bots.
I
Just got my new arrow keys for the keyboard I'm building. They're Kirby. That sounds really cute. That sounds super fun. So wait, how do you know what keys they are? Oh wait, they're arrow keys. So it's probably like Kirby's face and the directions. That sounds very cute. Anyway, I'm gonna find the world.
Well,
How do you search? All right. Nope. Yep. Maybe.
that's one search.
Hello, Sparky Fuffles. Mega Man. I'm gonna do one word, even though that's not correct. Legend. Submit. Okay. Cadillacs Island. I think it's a good one. There's Apple Market here. But this is supposed to be the whole island. Let's go here. New instance. Group. Become the Queen's Court. Group. Next. Create instance. Drop portal. Okay, head in, everyone.
Yo.
Go. Go. Arliss Boxer, go. 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 Good. See you there. We posted fixed space junk. I'm gonna look at it after the stream. Let me reposition myself in the middle. Go. Now I'm guessing this is gonna have its own music. It does. I win. I'm home. Get out of my face. This feels right, you know?
This feels proper.
This feels like where I'm supposed to be, personally.
You look normal now.
I look normal. We all look so normal.
You're so normal. Wow.
Except-
We can enter the flutter? Oh my god.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Doesn't even know where the remote is? Wanna play my own neighbors on this thing?
Hi, boss. How are you? Are you well? I'm pretty.
broken.
I'm pretty good. I'm doing my last stream before my surgery, which is exciting. And we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out for last stream. And I think it's nice. How do you whistle so well? Practice for the majority of your life. Learn how to whistle while breathing in, so that you can whistle forever. You know, like that. Woo! Kai Iona, thank you very much for following. Thank you. Let's see, I can wait till this thing is finished and I can start using it. It's been kind of a nightmare getting all the keys. Can't find any one set of keys that's everything I need. That makes sense, but isn't that more fun if your keyboard is like a hodgepodge of different keys? It makes it more your thing, you know? I'd say. I have a gap in my front teeth, so it can be hard to do for me. That makes sense. I guess. Well, I mean, maybe you can still find like your own way of whistling like that, you know? I'm Freddy, says Zoe, not the lie inside. That was. I guess I said that. When did I say that? How did I blush? Hold on. There we go. Wait, no. How do... Chat, how do I blush? Blush? You bots, help me out here. What gesture do I use to blush? Oh, thanks. Oh, wait. There we go. Aw, thanks. But it was definitely a mistake. I did not mean to say that. I am not so vain as to say that I'm pretty. Except sometimes.
Yes, the hyper-realistic
Super bad, I'm sorry.
looking like it came right out of MS-DOS. But you
I think
use
it's
a
good.
Game Boy stream.
I think it's a good painting. I like it.
The back.
It's a bad.
It's a ba. My cable is getting all confuzzled again. Hi. I love having like a big space. I have big space to walk around in. Ooh. So much space. I'm all the way back here now. The camera can't even see me.
Hi.
Hi. What if I was what if I did the whole stream like this? If I did the whole stream like this, that'd be terrible to watch live or on the VOD, but if there was anything that I wanted to put on YouTube Shorts, it'd be very good for that. Where'd my other hand go? Thank you. There we go.
It's always YouTube shorts and never YouTube trousers.
What did you say?
I said there's always YouTube shorts and never YouTube trousers.
True.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you
There's
doing?
TV here. Oh, my hand. I was gonna say, it's not you. We're never gonna get YouTube trousers because it's an American company. It's just gonna be YouTube pants. Duh.
Oh, that makes
Okay,
sense.
well, when
Yeah.
are YouTube jorts?
When are we gonna get YouTube jorts? That's the real fucking. You're so right.
Listen, we might have to make it ourselves like I made my jorts.
Well, that is the best way to make George, I think. Hold on. I gotta make all of you completely visible. There you go. Okay, you all have beautiful little faces now. What's Arliss? Arliss? No, not you did. Arliss Blockster is having like an out-of-body experience. I don't think you can see that on the screen. No, you cannot.
I'm making a false like third-person mode like Mega Man Legends.
Wait, can you do? Hold on, can I do that? I guess I am doing that.
Do that.
Well, I can't do it because I'm in
Have the
VR.
camera like flip behind yourself.
Yeah, that's really
I know
funny
how to do it
actually.
on VR, but I know how to do it on a desktop. It's like it's the camera option in the menu.
Yeah,
Just have it flip behind you and have it anchored to local. Boom, third-person mode.
you can't do that in VR, I don't think, but I know you can do it in VRchat, yeah. Anyway, let's go find a nice place to all line up and take a little photo that I can use for VRchat promotionals and such. Let's, oh! She's not looking at us quickly. Everyone calls Zoe gay. Dude, speaking of gay, me,
As we always are.
as we always are. Speaking of gay, I finished watching I'm in Love with the Villainess today, the current season that's out, and oh my god, how do I blush? Oh my god, it's so good! It's so fucking gay, and I love it, and it's so good, and I love it, and it's just really good. These are my thoughts about it. I don't know, there were just so many moments where I was like out loud going like you know, so that's how you know it's good.
Read Yuri now.
Yeah, this is you all should go watch it because it's extremely fucking gay, and it rules. It's a little gayer even than the manga still, which I've been told is because they weren't sure if they were gonna get another season, so they wanted to make sure that it's properly gay right in the first season, and it's not just like bait, you know. Well, it's not as gay as possible. There's still a build up to it, but it gets
Like the last season, the Owl House.
yeah, kinda. It's kinda like that actually. What the fuck's up in my hand? Is battery good on this? Yeah, it is. Oh, okay.
Oh. Why? I gotta
Mm.
mess with my
Do. Yeah, I'm into Ned. You fucking got me with I'm in Love with the Villainous. It's so good. Also, I'm gonna continue reading. I've been continuing to read. What's it called? Other Side Picnic. I'm liking it, and I'm gonna keep reading it while I'm in the hospital. So that's gonna be like my main thing. So when I get out of hospital, I'll probably have finished reading it. At least the book that I have. There's 3 books, I think. I'm not quite sure. But then I can give my review on that. Let's go. Let's go somewhere.
How gay is it?
It's pretty fucking gay. Well, yeah. Mambaleo, mambalina. Caipirinha, caipirinha. Well, yeah. Mambaleo, mambalina. Oh, we're being raided! Shit. Who is it? Shutoya, Goat Raid. Hi. Hello. Welcome. I am Zoe Gonla Queen. I am an artist who makes almost all my own assets, including this. And I'm a variety streamer who is currently doing my last stream before I go in for my bottom surgery. And so I'm hanging out with some members of my community, and everyone in chat, of course, in VRchat. Can you stop being big? I didn't build you guys to be big.
We're built to be marketable.
You are built to be marketable. No, you're built to be so cute. So cute.
Yeah, and that's the same thing as being marketable.
That makes sense. That does make you marketable, that's true. I'm gonna, hold on a second, let me get the audio levels of the game. Turn on the world audio a little bit more. There we go. You are little weapons, that's true. Do.
Wait for someone to grab my leg and hit me like a mallet.
You just start whipping you around. Okay, but right now we right now we are in a Mega Man Legends world, and if you know Mega Man Legends, you might be looking at my model and you think, damn, I can totally imagine that this girl likes Mega Man Legends, and so that's where we're here, and we're gonna take a nice little group photo, and that's what we're doing. Anyway, Story, I hope you and your viewers had a very nice stream as well, and if you're gonna stick around, then yay, and if not, then hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Let's go! You guys are so little.
Yeah, hi.
These are mini bus.
Little. This is like, okay, so like,
Small.
so these ones, you know, that's like, this is like lore accurate size, right? But wait, you're not small anymore. What the fuck?
Oh, wait, let me just...
Yeah, good. But this is like, come here, come here, come here. This, can you see it? Yeah. This is like what the merch would be like. Because that's too big to sell as merch, you know? This would be like an action figure or plushie or something.
I mean, it's
Real
0.20
U-boats
meters.
at your home doing whatever they want.
This is small.
We have you
Now.
at home.
We have you one at
I'm
home.
about to become should be advertised.
Want this one at home.
That is not average.
I mean, for like D.
This is the convention
Oh.
size U-bot.
This is like a mascot suit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway.
Honestly, U-bot mascot suit would work pretty well because of how blocky it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just make it out of cardboard and stuff.
You have plenty of space to breathe in it.
That's true too. You could totally do like the thing where you have like a camera on the outside and then like a screen on the inside, you know? And like ventilator fans. Fans, you could have fans in there to keep you nice and breathy or whatever. So if you could get isekai into any game and romance the villainous, which game would you pick? That's a fun question.
Great question, yeah.
Any game of romance the villainous. Okay, well, what are villainesses that I...
Portal.
Portal is a good choice. My first thing that came to mind was actually Darksiders 3. It's a spoiler, so if you don't know it yet and you don't want to get spoiled, don't look up who it is. But well, and if you like the villain of that game, if you know, you know. If you don't care about spoilers, you can look her up. God damn, dude, she's hot. She's really fucking hot. But I don't think she's nice. She's not nice. She's just really hot, you know? So,
Okay, hear me out.
yeah?
Hear me out. If you choose Portal, there's a good chance you might be turned into a robot.
That's fucking true. That's so true. That's true. Oh, that's good. Here, controversial opinion. I'm not attracted to GLaDOS' personality. I'm not a fan of it as a romantical option, you know? But and then if I try to romance her with the intent of maybe being turned into a robot, that's insincere. I'd be taking advantage of her, and that's no good, you know?
I think it's fine to take advantage of GLaDOS. She's done enough.
Toxic Yuri! Toxic
Toxic Yuri! Yay!
Okay, hold on, what's the expression for this?
Mm-hmm. So who else? Who else is there?
Like, they didn't say you had to stay with the person you romance. You could romance
No, but
GLaDOS,
like,
get
okay.
Roboty, then romance Shell. That's the big play here.
Okay, no, because it doesn't. Okay. When you get isekai'd into a video game, you are the protagonist, meaning that Chell doesn't exist. I'd just be taking the place and perhaps the whole appearance and stuff of Chell, right? How weird would that be if... That's true. How weird would it be for Gladys though if Chell suddenly starts talking? Because she can talk. She can talk. That's gonna. She can talk. She just never does.
It'd probably be like the same effect as Doom guy speaking for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was disgusting. I hate that. Never bring that up
Mm-hmm.
again.
No.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like the energy would be like, oh god, what have I done to elicit this?
That works, yeah.
Genuine, like, what the fuck? Alright, something has changed.
What are other
It's changed.
good female villains from games?
I'm tempted to say Tron Bond, but
No, that's a kid.
yeah. No.
There's one in Guild Wars 2 that is very good. From past the base game, but again, well, I just don't think she would be a good partner. You know, like she's hot, but I don't think she's a good partner. It's hard.
I mean, they are villainous.
I feel like the main problem is that villainesses in games are very rarely conventionally attractive. They're all like personality-wise.
Yeah, personality-wise, yeah. No, physically they're very conventionally attractive a lot of the time. But yeah, personality-wise they're usually super evil, which makes sense. A lot of the time,
I
yeah.
don't think it was grunty.
Okay,
Can't think of
well,
any other villainesses.
GLaDOS.
Apart from GLaDOS, which are also not conventionally attractive.
You don't know what you're talking about. GLaDOS is fucking hot. Let's keep going.
She's a computer.
Yeah? And I'm... And...
Not getting that.
Hi, I'm the computer. You're not getting that.
My question is, we just like passing, like,
Ah, here we are, in the market.
Wow, so many clothes I cannot put because I'm a U-bot.
You could maybe wear the kids' clothes. This is slow spin. I'm gonna get sick if I do that.
Yo, Apple Market. We can buy all the apple.
You listen to Shizuka?
The
That's
music
so
store does
good.
not have
It's
the
so
tracks from the
Her
game.
new single is amazing. Let's see what chat's saying.
Invisible Wolf.
Just as Dizzy, I know, Valentine, Ramlethal, and Jekyll from Guilty Gear. Those are good options, but they're not really like the villain from Guilty Gear in general, are they? I guess they are specific games, so I guess that would count. Claire was not super attractive personality-wise at first. She was super fucking classist. Ray just happened to be a masochist. That's... Okay, that's a good point. But... I'm not. So if I'm gonna romance someone, I'd like it to be someone... nicer? I mean, it also... I feel helps that Ray knew that there was more to Claire, you know? Like, I could romance... I could romance like someone who is shitty at the start if I know that I can get them to a point where they open up more and are nicer. You know what I mean?
I can fix them syndrome.
So enemies to lovers, basically.
Sort of enemies to lovers, and very much like I can fix them. Yeah.
I don't think you can fix GLaDOS.
I haven't played Guild Wars 1. I really still have to, Okwa. I definitely have to. I do have it, but I have not played it yet. I feel like there have to be... Wait, I'm fucking Dark Samus, dude! Duh!
Yeah, I was gonna say Dark.
Why didn't we think of that?
Shit for that comic.
I don't think you can fix Dark
You know the
Samus.
comic.
No, but Dark Samus can ruin me. make me worse, you know? To the point where I don't care anymore.
Oh. You don't need making worse, trust me.
Okay!
By this.
Is that a compliment?
I mean, you decide.
It's a compliment. Because I like compliments.
Yay.
Yay! Let's see what's chat saying. I want to get corrupted into good.
Joking.
Goo? I want to get corrupted into like a cool space monster, yeah.
You're good.
I think that'd be cool.
Detroit become goo.
Detroit become goo.
Become goo.
Not become
able to infect machines.
The goo.
In point, my robot.
hmm
That's not you, bot.
You're not a
I
U-bot.
swear at one point, I know I'm not. Oh no.
Can't stop.
Intruder.
Don't hit me, please. I gotta get out of here.
Whoa. What? Oh, in the corner. Whoa, you can go in the store.
No.
You're fucking escaping, bitch.
Violence in the mall. There are no mall cops.
Can you not go through this door? Oh yeah, you can. Oh. This place is nice. Yay, I did it! Yay! He died. He's dead, and I did it.
I'm back.
He's T-posing at me. No, no, no! Please! I'm just scared. Just kidding. Whoa, that's a hold on now, wait, do that again, hold on. Do that again. Nice. That's cool actually. I like that.
God.
Zoe behind you. Don't be scared.
Oh fuck, a cop.
I heard you're running in the mall.
Do we kill?
Kill.
Do we kill?
Kill this cop.
Oh no. Oh fuck. No.
Good. Good.
Commencing kill protocol.
No, no, no.
This is cool. VRchat's so funny. Mm-mm. Whew. Oh, the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 is a pretty good choice, actually.
Get the cop.
These bots aren't ideal for punching on it, ironically enough.
Yeah, it's kind of a design flaw, if I'm gonna be honest.
And killing. And executives.
I feel like maybe this is a good shot, honestly. I'm gonna take a photo here.
I think a headbutt would be like the most effective U-bot attack.
It's just... Hold on, wait, let me turn on timer. Hold on, wait, can y'all... can y'all become normal-sized U-bots and, like, beat them up again for a bit?
That was the plan.
Okay, good. Yeah, I need to take a photo of this. It's okay. Just keep doing it until I say stop. Okay, good. Mhm.
I was just the observer.
Fine,
I had
guys,
no
okay,
hands.
Santa.
Yeah, it's okay.
Throw hands.
Romancing the boss alone won't change how that game ends. Oh, the boss, like, okay, right. I still feel like I must be missing someone else. Really good, obvious choice. But I don't know, I guess I just don't tend to go for villains that much. That's like also like me Gun Queen. I'm a video game boss, but I'm not like the villain, you know? I'm the secondary antagonist of my game. I don't know. Villains are like mean, you know?
They are mean.
Yeah, right? Aren't they?
Why would you... Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about this. Villains are mean and do mean things that are bad. And then...
Aren't you kidding?
What?
In video game.
I got a point.
No, I'm not. I just said I'm not the villain. I just said this. I'm not the villain, I'm the secondary antagonist. I am fighting also against...
Antagonists are villains.
I mean,
Semantics.
secondary or not, that's still villain, you know.
No, it's not.
Not all my
No,
antagonists are villains.
That's not how that works. Okay, the villain is the bad character. The character that is doing evil bad things. Antagonist is simply the character that is opposite the protagonist. It doesn't mean they're inherently
So you're
evil.
good.
I
You're not
am...
mean.
Yes, I'm not mean.
I love how you just take like a power stand.
That's
I take a
right,
power
you're
stance.
So noble.
I'm normal.
And
Slaps
secondary
gun away.
antagonists are so noble.
Oh no, my gun.
Blows up brain with mind.
I don't have that power.
Ah, you got me there. Very good, very clever. I see you did your homework. Come here. You did it. You deserve a hug.
Oh, yeah.
Punches you. Mm. Got him again, bitch. I'm awesome. Yes. I'm the best. I'm so good. Yeah. Woo. Yay.
Okay, she's
Why?
not a villain, she punches cop.
One moment. What?
That's right. Not a villain. I punch
One
cops.
moment.
L.
Just quickly. Nope.
L. Wait.
Quick shot of my inhaler.
Is there an L? Yeah, L.
Can you
Big Metroid.
Oh yes, oh yes. This is the good stuff.
Didn't try, but in my or
Whew. And yeah, there are villain protagonists. There are whole games about playing a villain protagonist. Okay, so for those who don't know, my role in the game is that I'm also after the dangerous technology that the villain wants to use. And I have no brain for you to eat. I'm very stupid. And that's not what Metroids do, actually. And, Ooh!
Doper geeft het ATR 1 sub toe waar je liggend streepje
Oh,
zoekt.
Duper! Yay! Hi, Duper! How are you doing? What are you, Cyrus? Ooh. Thank you so much for the...
Doper geeft
I
het
gotta-
ATR 1 sub toe arteria
I gotta
liggend
stop
streepje
making every gift sub to be individual. But thank you so much for the gift subs. This is... It's gonna keep going for a while, huh?
ATR 1 sub toe just zo mee transkurl.
Yes.
Whew. I got punched by Gauntlet Queen and all I got was a shitty t-shirt and a broken nail, sorry.
Doper geeft het ATR 1 sub toe spasse junk 0.
We're just gonna wait this out. Where are you? Big clown. Hi!
Doper geeft het ATR 1 sub toe voor je
What
film.
the fuck?
You just see the
Are we done?
clown.
Okay, I think we're done. Hi, Duper! I hear you too! Hope you're doing well.
What the fuck?
What are you guys... Are you guys scared of the big clown? What? Over...
Not that.
What?
Don't go,
Don't go!
What is it?
Something over there. I want to say it was a fumo.
Very scary.
What is it?
I don't know. It wasn't there when I came back. It just
Do something, Zoe. That was so scary.
What was it?
I don't. It was something. It's not here now.
It was a thing.
It disappeared.
Like it was there for like a
What the hell?
disappeared. I don't know.
What was it?
Dude.
What did it look like?
White
PNG.
and
I want
blue.
to say a fumo?
What's a fumo?
But it was cursed.
What's a fumo?
I don't know. It looked like a 3D render or
Yeah, like this
something.
little,
But like,
it's like a little pushy thing.
What are they just little beans? And they look
kinda like
face
us.
and
Beans?
like a tsum tsum.
a character turned into a bee. It's like plush. It was a plush that it looked like a 3D render of a plush.
What, do you see it?
Do not go around that corner.
What?
Oh.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
Oh,
Bring it.
oh
It's friendly. He just wants a hug.
Kill it with fire, ice, and everything in between.
no! That's scary.
Just a
I don't
worm.
like the
Rub.
combine.
Yeah, you should not play as a. Jesus Christ! Oh fuck! Squid. I'm punching your hands.
What I saw.
Fuck off! Fuck off, motherfucker!
What I saw.
What did you see? This thing? You saw this thing?
No, turn around. Right here.
Pikmin. Oh, Jesus Christ, that thing! It's scary, dude.
That's what we saw.
It's so scary. Is that Cyrano?
Yeah, that's you now.
Cyrano.
That's scary.
That's why I said it looked like a Fumo.
Oh, fuck.
I think someone can ride while doing the carry. Wait.
Alright, sorry, chat. Hold on, let me catch up on you guys.
No, I'm going normal size now.
Whew. How about the Shrew Princesses from Mario Luigi Partners in Time? Not bad. I feel like those could be good to date. Missing out on god entities from JRPGs as dateable options. Yeah, there's so many JRPGs. I feel like there has to be some good ones from there, right? To date. Oh, Fumos are specifically Toho plushes that are sitting down. Okay. Also, yeah, every villain in Toho is a cute girl. Wait, okay. What about the crow with the arm cannon? Is she a villain? Does anyone here know?
Crow? You mean Ravenbeak from Dread?
No, from Toho.
Oh. Oh, that one.
Oh yeah, her. With the nuclear stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh
Is she-
no.
Is she a
yeah.
villain? Ooh, just my
Uh,
hands.
she might be. She's from Hell. But at the same time, her reputation is to not be very smart, so I do not think she's.
Well, that doesn't matter. Whoa. What did you do?
Apparently I can spawn a barrier.
Cool.
I'm perfectly safe.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Walks around your barrier.
Oh, gun. Ow. Fuck. Ow. Stop. Ow.
Oh, take the bullet.
I'm blocking them with my gauntlets.
I'll eat your bullets.
yo, you can do that. That's so cool.
I'm totally doing it.
Oh no, my
What's going on with my hand?
It's impossible.
What the fuck is... Wait, hold on. Is it because of... It wouldn't be...
I'm doing a combine.
I guess if I put my hand here, maybe...
Combine
no.
work for those things.
This is how Half-Life 3, I guess. They're gonna betray each other.
I mean, honestly, that seems about right.
It could be interesting.
Or
She's
it's
called...
like-
She... Okay. So the nuclear Raven from Toho is described as the main villain of her game, so she counts. So yeah, I might go date her.
Oh. Okay.
So we still haven't taken like a photo with a bunch of... Well, we did take one, but I would like to take another where we're like together instead of you guys are beating up a cop in the background, which is very fun. It is a very good photo.
It is. Why is the charging handle this on the way up here? Or
You should have made this.
Right away on the...
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't said anything.
Explodes when you pull the trigger.
At least it animates it.
Oh, interesting. The bullets have drop off in instance.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
really well made, apart from the fact that the gun makes 0 sense. Oh look, there's holes.
Oh, that's a heat sink. Oh, yeah, no, that's just a heat sink.
Okay, but like the barrel's there, and it then cuts a hole.
I mean,
Wait.
Looking at it from. Oh, yeah,
it is.
no,
Ye-
Oh my God, you're right.
That is weird, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the barrel.
Here,
Oh.
chat. This is so interesting. Look at how little sense this gun makes.
Is this interesting, or are you being sarcastic?
Jesus Christ, Valve.
I'm
Valve
not
does
sure.
know how to
That's
make
not a Valve-
guns.
That is not a Valve
That's
gun.
not the Valve model. That's a custom
This-
model.
This gun is actually from Starfield, which explains it.
Yeah, oh, that does.
Oh yeah,
matter.
that's the moment.
I don't know if it's from Starfield. I'm just joking. I just think Starfield sucks.
I also enjoy the fact you
Thanks,
have the
Beth
battalion's
Esda.
backup on your bag. Your
Oh,
back
yeah.
is the Italians back up. Fucking TF2.
Yeah.
You do deserve the TF2 item. Hold on, turn around, turn around. Turn. Keep turning. Keep turning. No, turn more! Like, when I say keep turning, it's like, I already turned. Yeah, keep doing it!
Or something.
That is just,
I'm wrapping myself around.
that is just a TF2 item. You're good, you're okay, you can stop now.
I'm dizzy.
Okay, what's...
Stuff out there.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, what's a good place to take the photo? I mean, I guess it'd be, like, in front of the flutter. But
I'm at the library because you love books.
I do love books, that's true. I was talking about books earlier today, as a matter of fact. What a coincidence. Wow.
Well, they were gay books.
How convenient.
They were gay books, and it was awesome. But, I don't know,
How about in front of that sign over there with the pig that says "Don't kick us"? Pretty good.
We are
I do
saying
kind
this.
of like the peace sign.
The fact that you're saying that while dressed as a cop, you know?
It's the only one I have that actually has guns. I like guns.
Here, I'll give you a model. Hold on a second. I'm gonna give you a better model. Avatars. Let's see. I hope I still have it. Okay, your favorites. Ooh, I have avatar currently unavailable. Hope it's not that one. Ah, here we go.
Oh! Yes.
Okay, here.
Okay.
So look at take.
Oh
my God, look at the animations.
Oh yeah, it's because my cloning is off. Hold on.
Where did
But anyway, like it can do cool things. Look, I have a sword.
Yo, that is sick.
energy sword?
Oh wait, hold on, hold on.
Yo!
Oh my god.
Hold on. Let me do it at the
I'm
camera.
avatar cloning so I can steal it.
Yeah, in a moment. Is it doing it? Hold on, wait, how do I do it? There we go. It's not really doing it on the. It's not doing it on the camera. Hold on a second.
No,
On
yeah,
the-
no, I experienced that firsthand. My eyes.
Oh wait, right. I have to combine. That's okay. This is how it works. It's like.
Oh, so it's like the program advance. Okay.
Fuck, whatever. And then. Yeah, it just doesn't do it on stream. Okay, anyway, it fires a giant fucking beam.
It does, I think.
It's really cool.
I love you, like.
You guys can't see it, sadly. But I don't know. It's just a fan care. It's just like an OC, I think. Okay, you may now get it.
Zoe has just killed me.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
She killed all of us.
Okay, off. Then I become myself again.
Slices.
Wait. Oh, yeah, did I do it? I am myself. I don't know why the camera goes higher up. That's weird. Ow. Stop.
Slices.
Um.
You best find this time because I'm
Basically, you can count pretty much every single Toho girl as villainous because you've had to fight all of them at least once. That's true, but are they all villainous? You do fight all of them, but does that make them villainesses? You know, because sometimes someone is just, again, like me. You fight me, but I'm not a villain. You know, it's not a villainous. Hi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just because
You do so much cool stuff.
means you're against.
I guess I don't know. I think you have to like use. Oh no, wait, you are in VR, so you can do like hand gestures to make stuff happen. You died. Let's go look through this door. Ba da 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 dun da dun 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 dun. I wonder if I can ever fix my hair from glitching out like this.
When it comes to VRchat, hair is impossible to fix.
Yeah, it really is though. Oh shit!
Look on your right.
This map is freaking
Look on your right.
The cop station. Ow! I'm being lasered.
Wait, get your laser.
Ow.
Click, blow up the police station. It'll look really cool. Do it quick. While I turn off my alarm.
Grabbing the camera.
trying.
You can do it. It's not gonna get picked up by the camera for some reason, but it's fine.
Or I can share the picture with the chat.
Yeah, someone take a picture of this.
I think the reason it's not getting picked up is
It's
you
like-
might have certain things disabled in avatars.
Oh, but it's my avatar though. You're trying so fucking
That
hard.
doesn't mean that, like.
Hold on, wait.
Why does it just keep resetting?
Oh, you got it.
Oh,
Every
fuck.
time it like
BRB
hits me,
figuring
all I
out a
can-
key blasts.
What's that?
This is the Dragon Ball thing I've always
Okay.
wanted.
Okay. So, okay. No, what are you doing? Oh, you're looking. Okay.
Don't shoot at it.
No, but that's the wrong. That's not. Well, that's also pretty good still, but it's not a giant laser.
not
It's like.
Can shoot a police station.
Yeah,
It's
I
not a
think.
full
I think the
super
way you
laser.
do it is like. Well, so.
Here we go, I've got a plan.
Giant cloud.
Big clown attack.
Giant clown. Giant clown.
Giant.
The clown fell down a little
Well,
hole.
that's one way to destroy an establishment.
I mean, it is kind of funny this way, isn't it?
Right here. I don't know what building
Abso-
it is. Imagine you're walking. Imagine you're in real life. And there's a giant clown punching a police station to bits like it's a fucking. Like
Well-
it's a rival
Giant
police station
robot
fucking-
joins the fuck.
Giant robot. The clown has a balloon.
Wait.
That's
wait.
cute.
The balloon full of explosive gas.
I know what I must do.
Yes. Go U-Bot. Go. Go. Yeah.
Imagine that's in real life. You just see a giant clown destroying a police station, like the fucking punch out on the Wii rival contestant, like splash screen.
But the clown is not like
Then you
properly
see
punching it.
giant
It's just sort
robot.
of slapping it with big sleeves. It still gets destroyed, but like it looks really awkward and silly. Anyway, but you good?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I was just doing that because I was just like, I wonder what'll happen if I turn my mic on and off really fast. You would know it.
That.
So it's like,
Anyway.
uh,
Shh, 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 shh. Anyway, it is 9 p.m., which means I have to go do my estrogel. We'll be taking a 20 or so minute break, during which we'll play some nice music for y'all. During this break, please remember that if you have any medicine you have to take, please remember to do so. Also, get some snackies, stretch your leggies, and make sure you stay hydrated. And then we might finally find a place to take a photo. Maybe.
Good news,
Who
we killed
knows?
Every cop.
I'm so happy about this. Can you try the laser again? I think, okay,
Come on.
okay. I think the way it is like first you do this gesture to get the cannon,
Yeah.
and then you do this.
Got it.
No?
Nope.
What about this?
Just.
The thumb.
Gray got it.
Oh.
There you go.
Hey, I have a
Okay, there you go. Oh hey, it actually works when it's not me doing it. Cool. I'm dying.
So blue now.
That's your ability. That's your attack, whatever it was.
Ow.
Nice. Nice. Okay, but we're gonna take a break now, so I'll see you all soon. See y'all. See y'all. Bye.
Yep. See you
Bye.
soon. Yep. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
I'm gonna crumple now. Time for me to crumple. See you soon.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Oh.
He's double shrunkled.
She
You
died.
killed Zoe with the laser.
I can't believe she died. She's dead. What do we do now?
No matter no friend or foe, there won't be a second show. Your running and I feel just fine. Don't stop when they're reading my rights. You won't see me when you turn on the lights. I'm always moving cause the city's so restless. I keep my eyes open when I'm asleep. I only take what can fit in my pockets. I drop it all if I feel the heat. Ooh, it's a slippery road where the people are liquid and ice. Ooh, it's a poisonous world where the pleasures all come at a price. Stand back, I'm a criminal mind. I keep running and I feel just fine. Don't stop when they're reading my rights. You won't see me when you turn on the lights. I walk tall, but I keep a small footprint. I never call from a telephone twice. I keep a stash in every city I've been in. I'll take a trip if the weather is nice. Ooh, it's the sweat from your hands on the dial when you're cracking the safe. Ooh, it's the part of the plan where you walk and you don't leave a trace. Stand back, I'm a criminal mind. I keep running and I feel
Oh my god. Hold on. Okay. Gang. That's very good. Is anyone here? Can I not hear anyone? Are you guys talking? I don't hear anything. Is anyone there? Hi. Okay, I can hear that. Hi. Do you guys talk? Oh. The seven Zoes. They're all here. Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you guys talk? Oh wait, I muted. Right. My bad. Hello.
Behold!
Okay. I muted VRchat during the break.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
So
Hi.
Polar had this model.
Mm-hmm.
Polar had this model. There's also another one that Polar had. Or no, Polar didn't have it.
Yeah, I
Arliss
had it.
Yeah, Arliss had it.
Okay, can I see?
Which led to this.
Okay, can you stop not shooting?
There.
I am now.
Wait, do the cars make... Oh my god, this 3D one, that's cute. I've never seen that one before. Do you guys have music coming out of the cars? What is that?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's in the
yeah.
car.
There's this little spin thing.
We go with this.
Yeah. Also, someone is attempting to attempt a thing to.
So we can drift.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Whoa, you're drifting. This is so cool. Wait, we should go to Mario Kart! And all be frog cars.
Zoe, for the
Yeah?
record, we do have this clonable, so.
Good. Yeah, I'm gonna...
That as
Yeah, I'm gonna be frog later. Okay. Mario...
Oh, yeah. Do we want a picture before we do that?
wait.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Okay. Anyway, hi everyone. Shh. Hi everyone. Welcome back from the break. And if you weren't here from before the break, then hello, welcome in general. It's the last stream before my bottom surgery. Wow. Okay, cool. We want to take a nice photo with the U-bots, which will be nice. I can use that for VRchat stream announcements. So, what's a good place?
By the way.
Ooh. Oh, thank you. Was it you? I assume it was you, because you said, by the way.
No, that was not me.
Oh, that was a coincidence. Wait, who did that? I didn't see.
Someone named Johnny Clover.
Oh, Johnny! Thank you! Thank you so much! It's so nice!
I might be wrong. I might be a fool. I might be blind.
I assume it was Johnny. If it wasn't Johnny, then I'm just saying chat that it was you. I guess now you can just...
What did Johnny do?
Give me a new, Yotsuba manga. I want to get all the Yotsuba mangas because they're so good. They're so nice. Did you know that if you throw a ball of paper at Zoe at just the right time of day, you win infinite money? That's true. You should do it. We should break the economy together. I'll let you do it. I can take a ball of paper. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
By the way, Wibliss said they
Wibliss said what?
They sent a message in the Discord asking to join the.
Oh. Let's. Oops. Oh yeah. There we go. You are in. You may now join. And find us in this beautiful, big, great world.
I will go grab them.
Brick World.
Good. Now where are we gonna go? I honestly feel like just going to the Flutter is like a good enough place to take the photo. I feel like it's a nice, iconic location. So we'll just all go. Doo-doo-doo, I'm walking. I'm on my phone and walking at the same time. I requested you. Oh yeah, okay. My last 6 brain cells trying to make a decision. All brain cells are actually little frogs in cars, it's true. Not many people will tell you this because it's very controversial, but it's true. It's because the story goes that one time someone found a genie bottle and then they got 3 wishes, and so their first wish was to turn every brain cell into a little frog in a car, and then they destroyed the genie. They fought the genie in an epic fight, and they won, and they destroyed him, and therefore they didn't have any more wishes, and no one could ever wish anything again. It's the only wish that exists that's real. Yep.
There's no more left mission to kill.
And that person's name was Albert Einstein.
God, I hate Albert
And everyone clapped.
And everyone clapped. Because their frogs told them to. Oh, that's Wibblers in the distance there. Hello! Hello!
The ship.
Click on you. Hello! Welcome. Okay, let's keep going, gang. The flutter, I see it. It is there. You cannot see it, but now you can. Kind of. And when I'm not blocking it with my head.
Why is it called the flutter when it doesn't flutter?
Because it's broken right now, as you can see.
Oh, will it flutter later?
Yes, it will. Alright, let's see.
Can we go on top of it?
Oh, that'd be really good, actually. Yeah, let's find out. Let's see. No. No. Oh. Some of you made it on top. Oh, wait. Can you just... I saw some names up there. Wait, how'd you do
I
it?
can't pass through that.
How'd you do it? Some people went upstairs.
Correct?
Too small.
Or it might
Oh, the rooms are just placed above. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Maybe from the outside, though. Hold on.
Above?
Okay, I know. Is there someone with like a very large avatar that can pick people up? Because then they can just put people on the top.
Oh yeah, that'd probably work.
There was the advisor or whatever from Half-Life, right? Someone had that.
I think it was.
Jody's turning into something heavy. Can you pick people up? No. No. You have to have a seat in your avatar.
Ah, fair. I'm very big though.
That's true. Wait, hold on. Yeah, if you have a flying one, hold on. The headcrabs. No, what did I call it? The Metroid can fly, right? So can you just fly up there? Or do they not actually fly?
I think that's just like a little accessory thing. I don't know.
Because I thought I saw one go real high up. I don't know.
That's about as high as I can get, boss.
He's flying.
Do I have a flying one?
Wonder, hold on. Let me see if.
Don't think I do.
What do you think she's very cool?
No, it's still.
Huh? Yeah, but she can't pick people up. That doesn't. No. You need to be able to pick something up or fly. Wait, doesn't my Rayman one? I have a Rayman one that can fly.
You have Rayman?
I have Rayman 2 and Rayman 3. Rayman, yeah. Okay.
Yo, can I have Rayman? I want Rayman.
In a moment. Hold on.
Okay, fine.
Maybe it doesn't work anymore. I think they might have broken it at some point. I'm just filling so much of the screen right now with Rayman. It's very silly. Okay, so this one doesn't work.
See Froggy Cart.
I can see Froggy Car.
I'm asking Willow if they see Froggy.
Oh, okay. I don't think we're gonna get up there, gang. Which is a shame.
Was perfect.
I know, it would be really good. But we'll do it like here. I think.
Yeah, that's
Hold on,
good.
where's the car? Okay,
A bit on the
so
side, perhaps?
hold on. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna hold on. Shit, saying right now.
To your handle.
Mm-mm.
Fighter.
Yeah, I guess I need a winged alt, huh? Okay, let's see. I have. In the plans is at least one alt that will have wings.
No, stupid.
Okay,
Okay,
so
no, it doesn't fit there.
let's see. Okay. No. Hold on. Hmm. I think there's more to see on the other side, actually. Hold on. No, that's like the
You
same.
could always do it inside the building.
I guess so.
Like in the little lounge area.
I think here is fine.
Yo,
I feel
you're
like
looking now?
outside though.
I like
Okay.
trees.
I like trees. Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, you guys are short, so the camera has to be lower.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, it's just you are. Not my fault.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, it is my fault. That's true.
It's entirely
Okay,
your fault.
this is pretty good. Get around, make sure you're normal sized.
Forge.
Normal sized. Be normal sized. You are not normal sized right now.
I was just
I'm slightly bigger.
Yeah, which is too big. Good.
Here we go.
Okay, everybody line up.
I wish there was one that was just like avatar height in relation to size.
Let's see.
Like,
Let's see. I'll go. Okay. I'll stand over here. No, I'll just stand up actually, because I don't have full body, so it looks weird if I crouch. What do I do?
hit the dab.
Okay. Yeah, Wibless and Polar Stars, you have to get closer. Buddy, come in, come in. Get around. Get around a little bit more. Come on.
Oh,
You two, you can come closer still. Okay. Arliss Boxer, you can come forward a little bit.
well,
Like
yeah,
a family
hold on.
picture.
It's like a family picture, yeah. And I'm like the overbearing parent who's like, I need the perfect photo, you know? Okay, little backwards, Arliss. Just a little, yeah. Okay, and then Jody, you... No, that's too much. I went inside.
Killing thing, hold on.
I went inside by accident.
Oh god.
Okay, so, hold on.
I need to turn off avatar culling on my end. Oh god. Hold on. Let me turn that off.
You guys are clipping into one another. Okay. So, okay, Jody, you stand here.
Okay, here?
Yes. Okay, good. Tenebris, you stand about here. A little closer to me. Don't move, Jody. No, Jody, no. Okay. Wibless,
I
you
need to figure out how
go
to turn off avatar.
there.
Oh, god.
Sorry, please, my arms are hurting.
Yes. You don't have to stretch your arms out all the time. I'm not taking the photo yet. Okay, Wibless a little closer. Just a little bit more.
Oh, levels.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, Arliss
Just make sure I
Boxer,
get everyone.
you have to get closer right here. Okay, good. Okay.
I'll just have to take a picture of everyone else later, 'cause for whatever reason, my avatar culling is like hiding everybody else.
Mm. That's no good. Okay, you guys can see where the camera is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, look at it, and if you want to do like a gesture with your hands, do it now. Okay. Okay, this one. One more. Cool, that's probably good. Okay, scatter or whatever. Do whatever you want. Thank you. Zoe walking her 16 horrible dogs. Please, I'm scared of dogs, do you remember? So I wouldn't do that.
Oh my god.
They'd be hogs instead.
Yo, I love hogs.
Hi.
Why not? Frogs.
Why not frogs? We must ask ourselves this every day. Can you stop shooting the frog? Frog did nothing.
Ow.
Anyway, let's go play Mario Kart now as frogs. You know, because that's, again, when we were in Mario, when they were making Mario, they didn't ask themselves that, and that's why it's a bad game, and we're about to fix it right now. Mario Kart.
I'm running out of desk space to do an accurate drift.
Okay, let's see. The Yoshi circuit. Sure.
Oh yeah, hold on, Wibbles, I gotta...
You wanna get it? Or Airship Fortress, fucker. Let's do it.
Wait.
Hell yeah, dude.
You go into, you can press escape, and then you go select user or shift,
Yippee!
and then you can click on me.
Everybody go in. Go in.
Oh.
Go. Whipless. Go.
Whipless is having wants to be a frog car.
You can do it in the world. The portal's gonna disappear. Go. Quick. There's an urgency to these things. Go here in the cart. Go. And fucked up and a show path. Oh my god, I'm so excited to play this. I love Airship Fortress. It's like one of the best maps in Mario Kart ever. That's my controversial opinion. And I'm right.
And they didn't have it in Mario Kart 8.
Okay, let's see. Clone avatar. I am now a frog. Okay, hold on. Let me do the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna do it like this. So I have to. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I have to do the thing. Wait. How do you do that moving thing? Oh, flying. Here we go. Okay. So, what I want to do is. Is it working? That's working good enough. We're gonna Mario Kart, gang. All right.
Doing okay?
Wait. Oh wait, it's anchored to the world. Hold on.
Press escape, I guess, or shift.
There we go. Okay, now we're good. Oh wait, we have to be in their own cars? Dang it! I didn't know we'd have to be in their car.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could probably
the
just
Mario
like adjust
Kart.
your scale in the car.
Yeah, but
Also,
I want to be Froggy.
50 is an option.
Hold
for
on.
select user.
Let me try something.
Yeah, that's...
Big Froggy in the car.
my
Oh
God.
shit! Okay, wait. Let me try it.
Do it as frog.
Wait, how do you items?
Okay, so let me wait. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the. How do you? Oh wait.
What are you doing? There's
How do you get in the car?
that's
You click the right block that's on the
with
seat.
block on the back.
Yeah.
It's above the seat.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Wait, let me.
Are you too small to click it?
I got it. I can't
Okay,
see
there we
what
go.
I'm looking at all. Wait, hold on. I have to.
Yeah, you might.
Wait. Exit. I want to exit. Okay, hold on. I have to arrange. This is so much work for like nothing. Okay, sit in car, and then expressions. Oops, expressions, quick actions. All right, there we go. Now we're doing it. I guess, kinda. Oh, what just happened?
Your left mission to run over the cop.
Am I? Okay, so wait, am I in the car? There's someone else in here.
You're
What?
in the car.
Oh god, it's me. Wait, oh my god, my sprite is totally bugging out for me. Oh, that's weird. I mean, it's fine on the screen, so it's...
Yeah, like when looking down, you see the top view of your sprite, because that's just how this model works.
it's weird. Okay, how do we go?
If you can see past the orbs on the steering wheel, if you can see them, you grab those,
Uh-huh.
and then
Oh, this is
right
nightmarish
trigger
to look at.
forward, left trigger to go back.
I feel like I'd prefer to just not be a frog. Can you just all be frogs and I am me? This is a pain in the ass. Okay, hold on, let me just become me again. Oh, I'm like big me, I think. Right? Does my...
No, you're normal
or-
sized. I think.
Oh, I guess I'm just not used to being normal sized anymore because of the frog. Okay. Oh, Jesus! Oh, those are still on? Whoops. Okay, well, what else would you like? Because I don't have access to a lot. I think I have, 2. I have Broadcast Queen and I have Coral Queen. Can you not bump into my car? I'm not in it yet. I don't have everybody, in VRchat, sadly. Broadcast Queen, okay. Where's the camera?
Why am I driving this car too?
Oh, there it is. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. Hi. That's way too small. Hold on.
Sorry. The camera. My bad.
Wait. Hold on.
Yeah,
I have
I
to-
accidentally backed into it.
Okay, wait. Okay. The car's so small now. Okay, flying, and then...
You might have to
I mean, you know what you must do. Become small.
No, this is just what we're working with. This is what we're gonna do. Okay.
Good luck.
Hold. Oops. All right. Okay. This'll be good. All right. So get in the car. This is not good. Wait. Why did my camera change? What the fuck? I just hold on. Okay. So no. What? Okay. Wait. This is so much work. We don't even know how to, like, start the race. I don't anyway, maybe you guys do. Okay. Got that. There we go. Good enough. Whatever. Okay, how do we start? How do we go? Oh. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Woo! Ah! Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh God! Ah! Oh my God! Okay. Oh,
Oh, this is very difficult to steer.
this is very difficult. This is. Ow! Fuck! Ow! My face. Oh, oh. Whoa, what just happened? What's going on? Did someone use an item on me or something? What was that? How do you use items? Can you use items? I just drove over one. I don't know if they did anything. Oh my god! Shit! Can you get coins? Nope. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh no! Buddy, no! Whoa, okay, there's no collision, it's okay. The fence has no collision, you can escape. Ooh. How do you go backwards? Wait, okay. It is surprisingly slow, but it would be far worse if it wasn't, I think. Oh god, this fire. I don't remember this fire, but I guess it's been a while since I've played this map. I'm burning up. Oh, ow. Hold on. Okay. Go backwards. And backwards. There we go. You guys think I'm in last place? I think I'm in last place, gang. Well, how do you... Oh. I was like, the cannon doesn't seem to be working, but... The cannon doesn't actually do anything, I'm just driving. Why is it so slow, though? Is there a way to go faster? Oh, oh, oh. Dun, dun, dun. Ah. I wish I could read chat right now, but I'd have to turn my eyes away from the road, and that would be bad. I'm gonna do it anyway. This is like what 50cc races are like? Really, though? That's seriously what it feels like, except also if you were constantly driving on ice or something. Oh, there's someone. There's someone. Ha! I've overtaken you! Ow. Oh my god. Ah! Did you just bump into me? What happened? Oh my god. Why are there bullet bills here? And items and stuff. Can I use these? Hold on. Wait, wait, stop. Can I use that?
Hey, that's mine. Give it back.
Sorry.
The lack of items is kind of
Oops.
lame.
A little.
You with the blue shell.
Man, I'm being hit by the blue shell.
They just stay in
The
midair.
physics were not great. My card got stuck immediately.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I sat
every
down 'cause I was
time you
so
make
dizzy.
a turn, there's no amount that you can turn that doesn't just make you spin.
It's really funny. Spin! Okay. Good race, everyone. Good race, everyone.
I think
Sure.
we all won.
I think we all won, yeah.
Can you shoot me?
Shoot. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is my numeric card.
Killing the frog population, one by one.
Called SMG.
Hello. Now what are we gonna do, gang?
I mean, there's some more worlds over there. Maybe they have good stuff.
Maybe. Oh, wait, is this a mirror? Yes, it is.
Yo, we could go to the Mushroom Kingdom.
The Mushroom Kingdom! That's where all those Koopa hotels are. But that's just a hangout world. It's not a Mario Kart world. Which I guess is... Well, maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe they put a track on it. Who knows? Let's find out, gang! But let's wait until everyone's here. Don't go yet. Also, that's a public world. Never go to a public world. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Chat?
Well, I was in public world.
For like 10 minutes.
Wait, were you the one that got launched over the fence?
No, that was me.
I was
Oh,
into the
okay.
fence.
Fun.
What's in public world, Zoe? Did the public?
Oh lord.
Public worlds are full of, well, not necessarily full of, but you are at risk of encountering bigots.
Ah, no.
And also weirdos.
Okay,
Also
I have a gun,
weirdos, but the bigots are worse.
I have a gun.
That's true, but so do they.
No.
Yes. I know, I know.
This is disturbing news. How could you do this?
They're very bad people. It's okay. It's okay. We will never go to a public world. It's okay. It's okay. You'll be
Thank you,
okay.
though. Show you my life.
Yes, you do. Shake
I don't know why
that.
you're shaking it.
I don't know.
I was gonna hug you, but you're like massive.
You can try. This is
Perhaps
just.
you would.
This is a child. This is like being hugged by a child. This is very silly.
Steals your teeth.
What? No, my teeth. I need those.
That'll be fun.
I can flip you off with this avatar.
To do.
Ow! Ow!
Bully.
Try and solve this puzzle, bitch.
Jeez.
Okay, you're
Violence.
That's true. I don't think shooting me would do anything, to be honest.
just go into whatever realm your dress textures in.
Yeah. Hello, Saying Shredder, welcome.
One way to... I do know of one way to defeat Broadcast.
The playground-
Think about it.
What way is that?
Unplug the TV.
Unplug from what?
Where is it plugged?
The universe.
That's true. Got me there.
What does that mean?
Baseball bat.
I think that's just like, you know how like on TikTok and stuff, they're saying unalive instead of just die and kill.
Hug.
It's like that, you know, like
Annihilate.
Unplug.
no, there's no plug, but it's like unplugging from the universe is like a new cool censorship way of saying die, you know?
It's like the
That's what they're gonna start saying once we're
I
cyborgs.
just went to the store.
Man, I fucking what did you say?
What they're gonna start saying once we're cyborgs.
Yeah, right? Why cyborg? Why not go further? Full robot, baby. Also, I've said this before, but a fun, annoying thing about Broadcast Queen and VRchat, and it's very appropriate that it's Broadcast Queen, is that I am holding, in real life, quote unquote, I'm holding both my hands like this. This hand is also like this, but for some reason I could never get Broadcast Queen's hand to actually not be always at an angle like this. For some reason, I don't know why. It's very weird, but it's very appropriate that it's on Broadcast Queen. You know?
He's very gay.
Phone rotation thing that needs to be done.
Are you using, you know, that avatar?
Is she like... Yeah, yeah.
So what you're actually doing is like, is she like, is she like, same gesture. Anyway, love this model, by the way. Did you make it? I did. This is my model. I make it. I make all my own models, and also all this stuff you see around. Little guys down there. Yeah, you know, I make my own stuff. Looks great. Thank you.
I like talented, I mean, too.
Is she, you know, holds hand like Broadcast Queen. Anyway, let's go somewhere else. Let's
Tower defense thing in VRchat.
do a tower defense. Let's do a little game together. It'll be fun.
Yo,
Oh boy, it's a bloom stream now.
I should hope it's not balloons. That's copyrighted. Can't be doing that.
oh no, you wouldn't want to break copyright law, would you, Zoe?
What did you say? Oh, again.
I said
I put-
you wouldn't want to break copyright law, would you?
Me? Never. Puts finger in gun and now it doesn't work anymore.
No, it's...
Yeah, that's right. I stopped the gun.
My beak is backwards like Daffy Duck.
That's right. I am imagining like a Metro Cup like that.
Yo, it's
Oh.
tower defense.
Did you make it only,
Yeah.
Alright, okay, let's go.
I made it so if someone's
Well, I don't know what they said. A little bit eepy, ain't I? VRchat is pretty taxing. Oh, we're gonna destroy cars by the looks of it? Alright.
Range becomes shorter.
Eliminate enemies by placing towers on the map. Upgrade towers with the wrench and sell them. Whoa, like TF2. With the wrench and sell them with the hammer, you win after 50 rounds. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna hit my head on these.
Have you heard the latest TF2 news, by the way?
That they're gonna employ or use AI bullshit.
No, that the item servers have been down for like a week, so no one can use any of their items.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
back in.
Man,
So,
I love that Valve loves their games, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Killer Queen got left.
Who?
They were AFK.
Killer Queen?
Ray.
With someone named Killer Queen?
For a person.
Well, they'll be able to find us again because it's a Goblin Queen place, right? So they'll be able to join us. Sometimes the round happens differently for different players. For the rounds to play out the same for every player, the game has to be perfectly deterministic. The built-in Unity physics were not made for this, and doing everything in Udon is currently still too slow. I've done the best I can, but unfortunately desync still sometimes happens. Desync will self-correct when the round is over. Okay, that's probably fine then. Okay. Let's give it a try, gang. Is that a start button?
I assume
This says nothing. Maybe this is the start button. Okay, this says next wave. Don't do it yet. We have to place things first.
I'm not touching it, I'm not touching it. I know, don't
Okay,
worry.
alright, okay,
Sorry,
alright.
I'm not touching it.
It's okay, okay, alright, okay. It's okay.
Fine.
I trust you. It's okay.
Thank you. I trust you.
Cool, nice. Nice.
Sorry, place towers.
You got it.
Yes.
I trust you. Nice. Okay, how much money do we have? We have 200 money, 2,000 money.
We can't afford any of this.
We can afford nothing. You're right. We cannot afford anything. Oh wait.
Oh,
Someone put down one thing. Okay, yeah, that is usually how it starts. Okay. Let's give it a
Okay.
try.
Well done.
I'm actually hold on.
Car.
Kill car.
I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna find a nice little spot.
I'm on the gun.
Oh, you're on the gun. That's fun. Can we actually like help out? Don't think so.
No, I don't. We did it, gang.
We did it. We're good at this. We now have enough money to buy another gun.
Now we can get.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna put down a gun.
I don't think it's allowed though.
The gun disappeared.
Where'd it go? Okay.
Let me try again. I did it.
Alright. I shall hit the button.
Yes, do it.
We arm the cannons.
Where's my other hand? Hello? Hand? There we go.
We are winning so hard.
Yep. Sippy, thank you. I will go take a sippy.
Cars. First cars.
Okay, hold on. How do I... Just put my hand down there.
We did it.
Put my other hand down.
We're so cool.
Gang, I have an observation.
Yes. Is it that this sucks?
It's that this is kind of boring. This is not really something that benefits very much from being in VR. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this is like a.
It was just a world.
Oh, careful. Shit, you okay?
Just showed up as cool.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. There was a desk there. There was
Yeah,
a
that
desk
makes
there,
sense.
I'm fine.
Okay, alright, okay. My other hand just keeps dying for some reason.
Well, on
Fucking...
the right side, at least we got a picture of a U-bot on a gun, so that's something.
That is good. That is nice. Let's go somewhere else.
I'm gonna stop.
I was expecting it to be more like you know, like dungeon defenders.
Yes. That's a good game.
Yeah, I love Dungeon Defenders. Played so much of it. I was expecting it to be more like that, you know, where like yeah, you put down your little towers and shit, but you're also fighting yourself. And I'm hearing myself through your microphone.
Okay, sit back.
Thank you.
Okay.
We could go to Gakoro because there is a world for that.
Mhm.
Gakoro.
Oh, dude! Yeah, we should totally do that. I mean, would it be a? Wait, how many people do we have actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, apparently this was not a group world, so KQ couldn't join. But the next one will be able to join. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many people do they have? 7. I feel like we could play Among Us.
Yeah.
No? Not too interested.
I'm not opposed to it. Just you know, we have a. You know, that's our suggestion.
I think Among Us is fun.
Ow.
Among Us
I
is
also
fun.
think it's fun.
10% fun. Tusk is a frog, which means their opinion lasts more.
Let's do a round of Among Us. And it is a group
In any way that truly
instance again, which means that anyone who in the group who was left behind or just hasn't joined yet will be able to join again. Head on in, gang!
Here we go.
Also, Caltively says, how do you suppose Broadcast Queen eats or drinks anything? I don't, and I'm being raided! Oh, Sawyer! Star Heavenly, hi! I'll be over there to wave shortly once I've loaded into the game. But hello, thanks so much for the raid! I'm kind of here, but I don't see myself yet. I can see myself. Okay, hi! Hi! I am currently broadcast... Oh! Shh! We were raided. I have to say hello to the raiders. So I am currently Broadcast Queen. I'm always Zoe, and I am an artist and a variety streamer who makes my own models and such. And I am currently in VRchat, hanging out with my community. And it is my last stream before I go on a surgery hiatus, which is very exciting. It's my bottom surgery, so I want it. It's a good one. But yeah, hi. I hope you had a very good stream. What did you do? Did you perhaps stream art? Zoe, why don't you just stomp the cars? Oh, in that other game? Because they didn't think to add that feature. They didn't think to give us something fun to do. My hand keeps bugging out. It keeps doing that shit. It keeps... I don't know why. Is it not being detected? Maybe not. Maybe I should move some stuff. Anyway. Hi. And thank you very much to Major Ghosts for following. We're just gonna play a little bit of VR Among Us, because that's fun. Let's go, gang. Oh, are we all here? 1,
Hey Zoe,
2...
turn on the mirror.
Yeah.
Zoe, turn on the mirror.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. That got me.
Goddamn German jump scares.
Yeah.
Mirror.
How mean. How could they?
Oh, you.
Can't believe the imposter was sus like that. What?
Can't believe they would do that to us.
Well, joke's on them, because I can enable my own mirror. Ah! No one else
I'll
can see it, though.
believe you. No, we cannot see it. But okay, how many of us are there right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, we're all here. Let's play.
I think bullets wouldn't do much to me.
I didn't get my question answered. Oh, about like how I eat. I don't. I'm not an entity that eats. But that said, my mouth is down here.
Food is for the weak.
It's
If I
true.
put remote into the TV, would that work?
I just imagine now a broadcast Queen show that just says my mouth is down here.
That would be good, actually, yeah. Chatting at art. I hope you had a nice time. Okay. Let's play. Who's the host? Is it me? It's not. It's Jody because she got in first. So we have 7 players. We could probably have 2 imposters then, right? Okay, never mind. Alright, chat.
Among Us.
I'm gonna tell you guys a secret, chat. Nobody else fucking listen. I'm gonna don't listen to me. I'm gonna tell chat a secret. Shh, 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 shh. Chat. The secret is that I really enjoy you guys a lot. Thank you for... Did I say enjoy? I meant appreciate. Thank you for enjoying my stuff, what I do. I really appreciate it. That's the secret. Don't tell anyone. Shh. Oh, sorry, my mouth's down here. Shh. Okay, let's go do tasks and stuff. I'm downloading. Okay. Oh. Someone redeemed a thing. Dab. Oh, there we go. I'm too tall for the spaceship, dude. Should I? Hold on. I feel like maybe... let me know, but I feel like maybe the first person view would be better for this. So you guys can actually see what I'm looking at and what I'm doing. But let me know what you guys would prefer. That's just a little loose. Oh. Jody!
Jody did?
Jody was found dead by me in communications.
I was in the engine room refueling the engines.
The only person that I saw... The only person that I saw once I left this room was you, Arliss Bloxer. But there was a significant amount of time between the two, between finding Jody and seeing you, so I don't know if I can really, like, accuse you. But them's the facts.
The people I saw going to the engines, or the fuel room, was Caramel, I think, Killer Queen Grey, and Forge, so they could probably vouch for that.
Going force.
Cameras.
We were staring at the cameras for like half the time.
I walked by them.
No activity spotted.
I was just trying to figure out who's where before I head back out, and then body found.
I do. Sorry, I'm messing with my camera. Judy died. No more collab streams. It's sad, but you know. That's how it is. Well, I have no idea who to vote for.
Me neither.
Well,
I'll just skip vote, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm gonna turn music on because there's no music here.
Oh yeah, good
No
call.
music. Oh.
Oop. Yes, go do your duties, your jobsies.
Well, we're off.
Okay. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
Wait, the camera's supposed to come with me. What the hell? Hold on. Hold on. Place myself. There we go. Now we're good. Hi. Bum ba da dun 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 dun. Here we go. I'm gonna check the camera. Looks normal. Can I stand here in a way that you guys can also?
Hi, boss.
Hi.
I finished my tasks.
Good. You're not gonna kill anyone, are you?
Done. One reactor online.
There, you bought. Hold on. What are they doing in? They're standing there talking. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna see what they're doing.
Is that where everybody is?
Wait, where am I going? I forgot where that was. Oh wait, isn't it? Oh, it's this way actually.
Gamer, we can do it.
What are you guys doing here?
Here, we're too small, so we're taking him up.
Wait, what are you? You're trying to do the job with the leaves.
Oh no.
No, they're too little.
Oh no.
Too small.
Too little, too itsy bitsy. Can I do it?
Lamau short.
I don't think I can do it for you.
I almost got sucked into the vacuum of space.
Yeah, no. It's
It was a scary job.
Well, you're gonna die. Not even to an imposter. You're just gonna die to being so smallsies. Sorry, buds.
Just can't I have been confident.
Oh, so itty bitty.
So itsy bitsy. Mm-hmm.
Across the whole ship.
See, now that the imposters killed them, we'll just go like, "Aw, man, their incredibly cute small stature got to them. It wasn't the imposters at all." How do I use this?
Oh, they did it. Huzzah.
Nice job. My hand's glitching out. Hand. I want my hand. There we. What is it with my tracking? I don't get it. I think there's blind spots in my my play space. Because this is what you get when you get like a very wide. That's a corpse.
Oh.
It was Teal. Teal. Forge has been killed.
Yeah.
It was in cameras, or what's that called? Yeah, security. It was in security.
Okay.
Whoa. You guys are outside. Chat's outside. They're out there. Come wave to Chad. Hi, Chad.
Hello, Chad.
Chat was not an imposter.
Hi.
Chad was an imposter all along.
Ooh.
Gray just standing around.
Raiden. Thank you very much for following. Thank you.
Try and go where I need to, but then there's people. Just checking out.
I like Lee's story.
What? Everyone was hanging out in fucking O2.
that a problem?
Yes, I think we're voting for you.
We had to go to O2.
You are the most suspicious person, I will say. I haven't seen you do anything that resembles tasks or anything. So,
That is true.
yeah. And we're gonna have to vote someone, so... I'm voting Killer Queen. Now make sure you don't vote for the other two-syllable queen. That's important.
This accusation.
Whoa, you voted... Wait, you voted for... Arta's Blockster.
Oh,
Whoa, yay! We win! We did it! Yay!
How
Woo!
dare you be right?
Yay!
Good job, everyone.
Nice job.
You left. I want you to know you left. I was like, man, I wonder. I turn around. I see Queen pop out a fucking man. I go, oh, stop, bitch.
Yeah. I was watching
took,
you
like,
two
2
from the
minutes
vents,
to
and
find
then
my
you
body.
left, and I was
Ridiculous.
like, oh, okay. Just drop
How could you?
down. I probably could have been killing more, because both bodies took a while to find,
That's true.
but oh well.
It's... You don't think it, but being, like, really tall is... puts you at a disadvantage, because you're not looking at the floor. You know?
That is true.
Yeah.
Foster can just sneak up and bite your ankles to death.
Yeah! Get me in the ankles. Do we want to go somewhere else, or do we want to do another one?
Maybe one more?
I'm fine with more.
Let's do one more. Let's do 2 imposters this time. 2 imposters, Jody. If you please.
It's done.
There you go. Okay, let's go. My hands! My fucking hands, dude.
Why is Wobblers dead?
It wasn't me.
So I can prove my innocence. Oh my god.
you died. So
That's-
where do you have a dead
that's
body? What the
behavior.
fuck?
No, they're fine. They're okay. They're okay. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Miracle of life.
It's okay.
What's going
What
on?
happened?
Okay, let's go. Let's go do. Let's do things. Oh. I caught a stream before the hiatus. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Full not coded. We were actually in a Mega Man Legends Worlds earlier this stream. Fun little coincidence. Hello. You don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't you fucking dare.
Sure, you don't kill.
Of course I wouldn't. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
That was Zoe.
What?
Wait,
You
who's
were
dead?
the
Oh.
last person I saw with Gray. I walked back out. Gray, dead body. Right where Gray was standing. Gray is dead.
Who?
Two people dead?
Gray.
What do you mean? My hand!
That killed them.
I mean, they are the queen. Oh, you mean that one?
For the record, we were
Zoe,
being
Zoe.
tiny.
What did you say?
We were being what? Tiny?
We were being tiny a little.
That's true, but maybe that's their cover up.
That is pretty sus to be tiny. Why
I
can't you be
love how
taller?
you two have completely disregarded that I called McQueen out. You're just like, yeah, maybe it's you two.
Okay, what's
I-
substantiate?
I see it.
Substantiate, I was
Might be
stuck
the-
in electrical doing 2 fucking tasks.
That's not substantiation. What did you see? Explain yourself.
I
What did you see?
go asteroids. I walk out past asteroids. I walked past these two things in where they time, I don't know how to phrase it, the air area with the thieves and
I
shit.
had to do the
oxygen.
lead.
But
Yeah.
it was too
I
small.
walk past that, I see Gauntlet Queen talking with chat. I look at them, they go, hi, wave at me. I walk past them, turn around, I see Gray looking over a box, I see Gauntlet Queen. I walk into Electrical Do Task, walks out, corpse, it's Gray, Gauntlet Queen, missing.
Well, I'd already left.
So you didn't see the kill.
No, but
And those two were
It's safe
also
to
in the
assume-
area, and so were you.
Point with the gun, don't point.
I'm.
where is
Maybe you did it,
Electrical
you
is
know?
very far from the other area.
I think maybe
Okay, but you
fuck.
made that distance.
What were you doing then?
Me, I'd already walked past. I was gonna go to medical. Oh, cool. Alright. We were on thin fucking ice.
Well,
Did it.
Cool.
Ooh.
I don't trust that tenebrous guy.
Don't trust
Did we do it?
for good.
Yay! We did so good!
Good
Woo! Yay!
Liar, that is.
I was just the whole time I was just like, just say very little, just don't talk a lot, 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 you're gonna be fine, just don't talk.
On you, boat.
That was good, it was fun. Oh, okay. This is really dumb.
we can always come back to that.
There's a duck in your head.
There's a duck in my head? Oh yeah, it's for when I laugh, or which I can do somehow.
I know.
I don't remember.
I noticed it earlier because when you're dead and you do the spectre the camera, all you see is that duck inside your head because that's where the camera is.
That's funny. I don't remember how to. Oh no, wait. I don't think I can actually do the duck in VRchat. It's just that it's there because of my VTuber model. All right, let's go somewhere else. Let's go do something else.
Liar by
Mm-mm.
attrition, both of you.
Yeah,
You can't shoot away the sins of your lies.
you're right. I'm sorry. Let's see.
To the weight of your sins.
We were just two little bots. And it was our birthday.
Ooh, what's
too.
this? Ooh, this looks cool.
I'll eat it.
Hey yo.
Does anyone here have a fear of the ocean?
Yes.
No.
Do you really?
I actually do. I
Okay.
don't like what's in there.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go somewhere else.
Will depends on what you're doing. No, wait. What were you going to ask about?
Well, do you want to go into an ocean world where you're underwater and there's stuff to see underwater?
That sounds fine.
It looked like it might be pretty deep. It looked like it might be pretty deep in the ocean. Here, I'll do something else that you'll probably vibe with more.
Tenebrous is scared, then we.
I'm more scared of submersibles, so that sounds fine.
You sure?
If I don't like it, I'll just dip and then we all hop back in.
Nah, I don't want to do that. We'll just go to this other beach-themed world. Everybody go into beach. Go. All right, everybody in. Go in. Okay. Oh, hey, you're back. Great. Was I gone? Did the stream die for a second? I hope not. That'd be sadsies. I have to... Hold on a second. Did it work? Okay, good. This world takes a while to load. Someone on the feedback forum said, like, you should add more music to your chill stream playlist, and they're right. And I try to, but it's kind of hard to find tracks that I really vibe with for this playlist, you know? But I do add them sometimes. I added another one like yesterday. This is a beautiful, chill-looking world. Jody's drawing something.
It's so cozy.
Trying to draw what?
There.
That's just so cozy, sync right now.
What did you draw? Oh, an anarchy symbol. Nice.
Shockingly hard to do.
They are kind of hard to do.
What's that?
Have a good stream, Zoe. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Alright, there's music on this world, but I don't know if it's like copyrighted, so let me see if I can turn it off. Music.
Sick house.
Player.
I do hate that like actual rocks around.
Page
it,
2?
you know, those cannot be textured enough for.
Toggles, hold on. Oh, I'm already on the toggles. Can you not turn the music off? That's annoying. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay, they just have a playlist.
Do whatever you want.
Is it already off?
It's off for me.
Okay. Wait, I think I still hear it. I'm just gonna turn the volume down. Can I do it? No volume.
Yeah,
It's still going for me. I can't seem to do anything with it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got it. Ooh, what are you drawing now? Is that me? Aww!
It is you, yeah.
That's so cute! Oh, nice!
There you go.
Thank you. Let me take a photo.
Oh, I forgot to take the ones out.
Oh no, wait. No! Oh!
There we go.
Ah, thank you. Very good.
Can we put the TV on?
No.
Or we can put you on?
I mean, we could watch something on the TV, I guess. Is that good? What can we watch on the
SpongeBob
TV?
on your head?
Oh, my head. I thought you were talking about that TV over there. I do not have SpongeBob on my head.
Can you put your stream on your head?
No, I only have old Dutch programming on my head.
There we go.
What did you draw? Did you draw SpongeBob on my face? Oh my god! Thank you! I look like a monkey. I look like Kiki, my friend Kiki. Good. There we go. What else is in this world? Let's over this way. Cave. We can chill in the cave, gang.
Yo, I love caves.
Yeah, go outside.
Oh, hang on.
There's
I do that.
you got bigger.
Pool table.
Oh, okay. It's client side. Got it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Can you actually use it?
Yeah, there's a button here.
What's the button? Okay. Enable table. Full config. Game mode. 8 ball, 9 ball. Whoa. Whoa.
Careful. Careful.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay, how do you... So how do you start? How do you do it?
Oh, open slot. There we go. Yeah, you click on open slot over here.
Where?
Down here. See, you see where it says open slot?
Oh, yeah. Alright,
Yeah,
that's
click on
me.
that. There we go.
Start. Okay,
Okay, hell yeah.
I'm going first. God, I have a time limit. Go! Time limit! I think? Was there a time
It's
limit?
my
Okay,
turn now.
it's your turn. What? That's mean. It's such a short time limit. I don't know how to play yet.
Oh.
Good job, good job. Okay, my turn.
You gotta aim it and press the trigger.
I did something.
You did. Move a your butt.
Nice.
I love how you don't have to press the button, you just hit.
Ooh, it's red now.
I can't. Oh, not me.
It's my turn yet? Okay, it's my turn now.
Oh, no, it's my turn.
Oh, I missed my turn.
Is it?
I guess because
I'm so confused.
This is good.
Jody is blue, you're red, because you hit one of the balls, and I guess it was like,
Are you full? Okay, go. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna put something or whatever.
It's not. How, don't put the blank.
I did it!
That would mean I win.
Oh.
Yes.
I felt so good about what I did. What are we playing?
Yes.
Oh, chess, okay. Turn pool table off, okay. Use.
Here we go. Push the game. My gosh! No!
Start. Join white.
Are you good? Okay.
Start.
Okay, around the other side then. Okay, alright. The white see it first?
Like an onion. You winning,
and
Zoe?
we have a riveting game.
Did you ever play chess, Zoe?
Sometimes. The other day I beat my mom in like 4 turns. But she barely knows how to play the game, so that doesn't really count.
Damn. It counts.
Thank you.
It counts to 2-pound noobs.
I have to take a sippy real quick. Better not cheat while I have my back turned. I guess there's a timer, so...
There isn't, actually. You can take as long as you like.
Oh, good. So what does pool have a timer then?
Ah,
Hmm.
more high stakes game, I guess.
Hello, Kai. Welcome. I'm gonna... Hold on. How... Would I still have to squat down if I was Gauntlet Queen? Yes. Well, kinda. I guess not so much. I can't fucking see your pieces, dude. It's too dark.
What do you mean you can't?
I can see them like this, but if I'm standing over the board, then I can't.
More conscious, Yuri.
The new Yuri Conchis.
I think it's a pretty good Yuri.
Okay.
This too is Yuri.
Can chat like see what we're doing? I feel like the camera might be too far away. Hold on. God, why is broadcast so fucking tall?
My sister and Kai, you made her.
That's true. And I wouldn't have it any other way. There. Did you do a thing yet? Yeah, okay.
I did, yeah.
The redeems aren't VRchat compatible. Sadly not, that's why most of them are turned off. Yippee! What did you do? You did that?
And I moved that horse.
You did what?
Sorry, that pawn, sorry. That pawn.
Oh, that one. I see. Okay. Right, okay. Bum 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 bum. Da 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 da.
Slowly. There we go. Perfect.
What do you do? conch head. Can you even see that on stream? No, it's cut off. So sorry.
Has spoken.
I win.
My
No,
gosh!
you don't win. The conch doesn't mean you win.
What? I feel like I should have won. Chat.
Our conch.
Vote in chat. Should I have won?
Communism.
Oh, it's my turn.
Chess works. It is your turn, yeah.
Kills you. Kills you.
As someone who's a part of the
Oh, you
chess
can do
club,
that.
you should have won.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
There we go.
What did you do?
That's not a joke, by the way. I was actually
I
a
moved
part of
up.
the chess club.
I believe it.
To make that call.
And therefore, you are qualified to work at Bethesda. Not that you would want to.
Why? Just
I
worked at a
was
chess
in
club?
chess
Or not even work, because I was a chess club, or because...
Because Todd Howard was in the chess club.
Yeah.
Like,
Very well.
I'm just gonna. What if I?
What if you...
Hey, that's my thing.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's the thing. I've already taken 3 of your pieces.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've taken 2 pawns and your horse.
I feel like chess is not easy for me to play if I don't physically see the pieces move. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And also, it's really dark here, and your pieces are hard to see. Well, I'm gonna.
You know, the funniest part about this is that we can't see the table or the pieces either.
You can if you go for if you go over there and you click you enable chess.
Oh.
Really interesting.
The conch gamblet. Excellent move, boss. Thank you. Thank you. Chess was never the same since.
Pieces though, but whatever. I'm sure that'll fix itself.
Chess was never the same since Black got the camouflage update. Someone turned the lights out. That's funny, actually.
Oh no.
there's another room that has better lights. Well, that all has chess.
I don't want to start another game of chess. This one is already so laborious.
I was gonna say, if you want to change...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
I'm sorry. I thought you were an intellect.
Where'd you get that idea?
You're in check.
What am I?
Oh, you're in check. Yeah, your king's there. That's my horse.
Nah.
What do you mean? No, I was.
No, but not anymore, is what I'm saying.
It's true. Not
What do you
anymore.
mean?
You're
No.
absolutely-
Just wait until Zoe activates her chess ultimate, which is basically just shove the piece in your eye.
You just physically assault you.
Sounds like
You're like trying to
that's
win,
Zoe.
you can't see, idiot.
Like chess.
Master
Oh, check also.
Me beating them out of it.
That's not check.
Is it not? I'm gonna
That's
do
my
this.
queen. No, that's.
Ah, fuck. Well, check with this
Oh, no,
one.
you're right.
Check with this one,
No,
bitch.
you're right. No, man. That is the bishop. No, you're right.
Yeah, fucker, I'm winning.
That's incorrect.
I might win this. That'd be funny.
Oh,
That will be hilarious if that happens.
I get queen.
Incorrect.
Well, no, not incorrect. I did get one, and then you just killed her immediately, which is not the same thing.
Sure. When is chess queen coming in?
Not valid, all name. Sorry.
Not a bad old name.
Okay, let's see.
We don't need chess queen because I mean Zoe's already now.
I'm already the queen of chess right now, baby. I'm doing it. I'm beating your ass.
Huh?
No, don't worry about it. I'm doing a really good job. Let's see. If I so I want this one dead.
Right into my gambit.
This one has to fucking die. Okay.
We could hit the pieces where George is not looking.
You guys have to eat her pieces, that's it. She's playing as a cop, so it's totally valid to do so.
Get in position.
It's valid to hit cops
Should I go here?
in a cannibalistic way.
No, that's not good. Oh, shit. Oh, dang. Oh, I have to kill that one. I should kill that one if I can. I don't know if I can, though. I can do this. Didn't expect that, did you? Oh, fuck. Shit, I forgot. That's not what I meant to do. I wanted to move my tower, not the horse. The fuck? What's happening over?
That's very unfair.
It is, yeah. Did I lose?
I guess so. I didn't know you could take the king. What does the thing say?
I killed your queen.
But you know I have a king. How?
Well, take your move, bud.
Kingdom doesn't need a king.
What is my objective?
I don't know.
I guess I
Just kill everyone, I guess. just kill your queen.
Congratulations, I've never met anyone who's soft-locked chess before.
No, I know what it is. I know what it is,
What?
right? Usually, in most chess games, you have to kill the opponent's king. However, I myself am a queen, and I control all of them. You have to use your pieces, to kill me. But if I kill your king, I still win.
So does that mean we just have to throw a bunch of chess pieces at you?
Yes. Which is not a thing you can do in this game, so you might as well forfeit.
Barrage.
Barrage is disabled. Also, that's not chess pieces. What, is it my turn? Oh, what did you do?
Control you, but at you.
Well, I'm just gonna kill you now, I think.
Yeah, put a U on the board.
That'd be fun, actually. Get over here. Whipless, you. Kill that.
Kill that.
Yeah.
Blows up.
Nice. 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 Okay, well, this bit is over.
The least fair game of chess. What do you mean bit? I was saying a fun game of chess.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you beat me, and that's a very good job, but then we made a bit out of it because I could still keep playing for some reason.
That's fair, that's fair.
I guess it's just if you want to do like a last man standing kind of thing, you know?
What am I at the moment? Am I still a cop?
Chess really shows what's the problem with the monarchy. Agreed. Also, yeah, you're still a cop.
My hands are like different. I don't
Huh.
have a normal hand.
Well, you're a cop for us. Maybe try reloading your avatar. Are you doing it? Oh,
I'm doing it.
you're a cop.
There we go, that's better. I'm back.
You're a cop.
Back, baby.
You're a cop.
Yeah?
Was that... you want to be a cop?
Did.
Dang it.
Bunch of little like one go off.
Hooray, we did it. We killed Billy.
And that's how winning
Stream's
chess
over,
goes.
everyone.
I'm dead.
Boss!
Boss!
Melon
Boss, don't do it! Boss!
I'm dead.
Boss!
I'm so sorry, everyone. Sometimes it's like I can still hear my own voice through that microphone.
That's microphone.
Does this mean that Joey got... I'm kidding. Oh, there's a pool table!
Yeah, we played pool a bit ago. Can I? Hold on. Hey gang, I'm on the floor. You can't see my head for some reason. Why is my head doing that? What's going on? I'm lying on the floor, like on my back. But where's my head? What's going on? I'm gonna start crawling.
On our ends, it looks more like you're just
crawling under the pool
you're
table.
just on the floor.
I'm
face down.
crawling.
You're like a slug.
I'm like a slug.
Doing it slug
Chet,
style.
have you ever thought about that? About how I'm like a slug? It's very interesting if you think about it.
Thinking about it.
Where are we going?
You're going to a different sofa.
Couch.
Okay.
Sofa.
I want to go to the beach. Is this towards the beach? Am I going towards the beach right now?
Just have to crawl through the couch.
What's... I don't see anything. What's going on, plants? There's plants here? There's plants here, honey.
In a minute.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna
Just leave.
zoom out a little. Ooh. There we go.
Thanks here, honey. Let's leave.
Okay, there we go. Hi, chat. I know you can't see my face, but I can see you. Or your face.
Yo, who else?
Crawl-
Someone else people got-
Crawling Queen is a valid alt name, you're right. Select Queen is not a valid alt name, we're gonna have to eject you. Oh no! Okay, where's the... Hold on. This way? I'm into pillows or something.
Yeah,
Zoe, stop being a slug for a second.
you're on
Someone
the
drew
couch
3D
right now.
broadcast
You're
screen.
gonna have to
What?
go left.
Someone drew 3D
bit more to the
broadcast
left.
screen.
Oh, like a new one?
Behind you.
Or the one you showed
Yeah,
it?
like a new, new drawing. It says,
Okay.
Stop being a slug for 1
Ow.
second. Don't look how impressive that drawing is.
Well! Wait, hold on a second. Yuck. That does look cool.
She's alive!
Ah,
Whoa! That's
Swapped
cool!
models before I was done, so I ran out of reference material. So
Oh,
I
sorry?
didn't remember what color all the other parts were.
I can switch back if you want. Here. Hey.
That's... Was that like bluish rectangle? And pink and green.
This is blue, red, or pink, magenta, whatever, and green for the hand. Bupple. That is super nice, though. That is so fun. Do you mind if we go check out the beach while you work on that? You can
Oh, pink, green. Got it.
you can look out the window to see me again over there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Small fucking ceiling. Okay. This looks so nice. Massachusetts dancing.
shell collection.
Beautiful beach.
Life truly is beautiful.
Oh,
It truly really is, though, for realsies.
It's my golf.
you put him in the box. That's interesting.
Can I lay down? Can I sit down?
My golf.
Are there seats you can enable or something?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Maybe over in the box.
That's a thing you have to do. Something. Is that a boat?
Zoe.
What is it?
Zoe, come, look.
What is it?
Box.
A box.
Look, there's a scavenger hunt.
Fun! We put all the shells in here.
Look, Zoe, I found a conch.
Thank you. I'm putting it in.
I did it
It
all
counted.
by myself and
I'm
didn't
s-
steal it from someone.
I'm so proud of you, Caramel. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get these other shells.
But not a punch.
It's a shell, though.
Claim.
That one.
Nope. I think I accidentally put one out of bounds.
Amazing. Is this a... Ooh, it's a pen. I will draw something now. Where's my face? Hi. Or, my camera. Grab. Okay, let's see. What will I draw?
What the punch is inside?
It's Kirby. As we all know, this is what Kirby looks like. Actually, I did wrong. These eyes are supposed to be dots.
Yo, it's just like the beginning of Kirby's Adventure.
That's what I'm saying.
So there was the comfiest little nook over there.
I'll go look at it in a moment.
The other punch.
Sorry, I'm drawing Kirby right now.
Sexy little book nook.
Yo, I love Book Nook.
Hell.
There we go. Yep, that looks like shit. Very good.
Oh, could you? Looks just like Kirby.
Sure. I think Kirby could use a little suit.
Oh no, he's a capless now.
Oh, you're right. We have to destroy him. How do I... I did it. You did it! With your gun, you killed him.
Yay!
Great job, you killed Kirby. And
Look, gang, it's a gun.
it is. They could just see the gun, not the hand, I don't think, just the gun.
I see. Anyway, look at this gun right now. It's got no injection port. Like, it's got the...
Yeah, they don't see your fingers.
The barrel go. Like, I don't understand how this gun functions. But the pipe doesn't go back on it. Okay.
Very good. Kirby's iconic round teeth. Just like his round body. You get it. Yeah. White teeth so he can chew. It's so Kirby can chew, gang, of course. Unlike me, because I don't have to eat anything. I have teeth, but I don't have to chew stuff. What are you drawing? What was that, Kirby?
There we go, now that's Kirby.
You're forgetting his iconic teeth.
He doesn't have teeth. Okay,
Here.
fine, we'll do.
Fun. Is that even like...
Fangs,
Yeah, thanks, gang. I think if I... Hold on. If I do... If I'm gonna... There, now you can see it really well. I'm being helpful. Giving Kirby a suit implies he's naked all other times, which is not something I want to think. I mean, he already wears hats and... It's true, that is the corner. You're right. Very nice. You guys know the stream layout so well. Can you also tell me where... I guess not. I guess there are no other redeems right now that allow you to highlight any other part of it. What's up?
No, I want to go back to the debate about whether or not Kirby can bear the sin of nudity. I think that is going to be the largest argument in Gauntlet Queen history. Close by moderators after 1,000 days of debate.
Okay, think about it like this, right? Like, he also wears hats. I think, like, Ninja Kirby or whatever, like, has like a full outfit.
Yeah.
Jet Kirby, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There are instances where he wears clothes. It happens. There are even... You don't want to think about this either. Kirby's bald. Because when Kirby's in Smash Brothers, and he copies someone whose defining characteristics are hair, which is a lot of them, he gets hair, which means that Kirby usually is bald. He is like a baby, so it makes sense.
What if he's covered in foam?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Huh.
He's also an amorphous pink blob that absorb others, so I don't know if you classify him as character.
I mean, we're doing it for the bit.
Oh, there's a bit? I walked in on a bit, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's half a bit, half just like,
Meal.
Hey, do you want to go see the comfy book nook?
in a second.
Sorry,
Alright, so, you've made yourself a force field. You're impenetrable now.
She's being trapped by the evil pen.
No, it's on purpose. It's a protection from the sins of the world. From Kirby's bald sins.
The pen is controlling her. She doesn't know what she's saying anymore.
So
I'm protected. Ow. Ouch. That's pretty painful, I gotta say. Aw, man.
Yeah,
That's
well,
pretty
we'll keep
painful.
It can't be more painful than this giant gash you've done inside you.
That's, yeah. That one sucks, actually.
It's fucked up.
That's something nobody ever remarks on, that I've got a horn growing out of the side of my head.
Well, I've definitely remarked on it
I
before.
registered that. I didn't realize that it like crashing. The longest time I was there, I didn't realize it.
Anyway. Hi.
Zoe,
Yeah.
Do you want a snack?
I would love a snack, but just a moment.
We
I
could,
can give Zoe a third
we
one.
could start it.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. My phone had an alarm that in 1 hour my computer's gonna shut down, so we should probably not be here for much longer. Kerbald. Like to slap his bald head, reply to slap his bald head. Kirby's bald.
You're not fat as well.
I also don't personally think that Kirby is fuzzy. I think he is just smooth. He's like a marshmallow, you know?
Marshmallows are like kind of fun.
He's marshmallow texture.
Yeah. I've told this before also, but I got like a Kirby plushie that's like about this big. And like proportionate. Like I right now am very tall. But like this big if I was not really tall right now. And it's so fucking squishy. It is like a marshmallow. It's like a marshmallow composition. It's really fucking good. I love it. Yeah, like a mochi. Kirby feels like a stress ball. That's my theory. Yeah, exactly. I think that's correct. All right. So is the drawing still going up there? I assume so. Let's look at your little nook that you found.
Yeah.
We'll go look at the art later. Oh! That is a delightful little nook. How nice. Can we sit here? Are there seats?
There's a plus one.
Even friendship bracelets.
Oh, oh,
Oh, cute. Mirror?
fuck. It's a mirror.
Are there seats here? No. I feel like Chet hasn't even gotten to enjoy the beautiful sunset yet. Hold on. If I can put the camera like here.
Look how it's yours.
No, fuck off! Don't be mean to sharks.
But it's yours.
Jaws is nice. Jaws is just a mom trying to protect her kids. Come on. Yeah. Look at. No.
I got a string.
What? What?
What's going on?
I don't think those are friendship.
Oh no. That is not something we want to be using. That's not something we want to be using right now. Oh my god, you're just stuck. Oh my god. No. Oh.
Why does this world have doggy?
Why does okay, well,
Why would that need to be a thing?
Let's not think about this. No one mention this again. I've got a gun.
It's okay for people to want to do that, but I feel like the world should clarify that. I feel like the world should clarify that that's a thing you can do, but that's okay. It's okay.
We're not talking about it anymore by threat of this gun.
We're enjoying the beautiful sunset.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Good to show the sun.
I like that your gunshots that fall off.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's a cool gun.
It's nice attention to detail.
In my personal recommendation,
Which is
shooting
weird
the sun never really
considering the
anything good.
models.
Nah, shooting the sun is cool. When has shooting the sun ever not been good?
Well,
That's... Everyone remember the story of Icarus.
He didn't shoot the sun. He shot for the sun as a metaphor. That's different.
Exactly, he shot for the sun. He wanted to get up to the sun because he wanted to say hello. That looked friendly.
Uh-huh.
He did, and everyone was very happy. And I
Yeah.
didn't finish the book, but I think everyone was very happy and got really high. And everyone was cool with it.
Everybody yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So you should always
There
shoot the
was things
sun.
just like, sun, I love you. Good job. Good job, Icarus.
What's that? The fuck is that?
Oh fuck.
No, not that thing again! Oh god, we gotta get out of here.
God.
Shit! Oh. No! Okay, camera. This camera. Gotta get the camera. Shit. Jesus Christ. Oh fuck. No. Oh god. We have to edit this in post and put scary music over it. It's like a fun footage horror movie. Oh god, no! There's a thing out there. There's a horrible thing out there. Oh god! It's so big!
or is it just a walking 8-ball?
It's so scary.
Spamton.
Where did it go? Yo, it's Spamton. That's awesome. Nice, dude. Yo.
It's only become smaller.
What? Where?
It's smaller.
Well, I like your Spamton drawing. Ah! Anyway, it's down there. Anyway,
Thing.
how goes the art?
1907. I love how you could theoretically just disguise yourself as an
Really
archer
nice.
because of like the
I do
design
need
of it.
space.
Really small.
Oh, sorry. Hey,
La criatura. Dios mío.
creatura. I do have to say that we're probably ending the stream any moment now, so
Yeah.
I don't know how close you are to finishing.
Yeah, pretty much done.
Good.
It's not gonna be perfect or anything.
No, well, that's okay. Nothing's ever perfect.
He's everything.
I think you have to put that in newer Fanet
Also the neon.
This is so cool.
Really gray.
That's okay. It is looking really nice, yeah.
Being so cool.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Is that even the right direction? I can't tell in three-dimensional space.
No. Jude. It just says Jude on this side.
Okay, well, to be fair, you were in the wrong side.
I'm what?
You're on the wrong side completely, so...
Well. Okay. Oh yeah, that does say cool. Huh, neat. I didn't know before. I didn't know what it said.
But, let me rectify.
Anyway, let me take a photo. Sorry to chat that you're seeing sideways right now.
That truly is...
Do you want to stand next to it?
Truly is...
Hold on.
but I mean, so are you.
Haha, I'm so high.
Remove this pen.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Ah,
Careful that you don't accidentally delete things.
Is this
Good.
going on the fan art rotation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. Probably, actually, that'd be fun. Alright, let's go say goodbye somewhere together, nice like. Let's do it in a little nook. Back to the nook. Run through all the blue that I made. Alright. Let's see. About here.
Seems the beast has left us.
Okay.
Oh, this, I forgot about the stone.
Come here, everyone.
Starfish.
We overcooked them, I think.
Come.
Cook the starfish, sorry.
Come to
Sorry,
me.
sorry.
Come to me, my friends. That's okay. I don't have to eat. Come to me. Come. Come here. Come here.
stop being.
You, your legs are being a little funky. All right. So,
I need five.
no, don't do that. Don't. No. 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 No.
Let him do it. It's fun.
Become human. Don't become human.
Detroit. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. I had fun. This was my last stream, like I've said a bunch of times now, before my hiatus, because I'm gonna get my bottom surgery, which is great. I am gonna miss streaming, of course, and it is a shame, but you know, I'm gonna need to recover. I'm gonna need some time. So I hope this was fun. Also said we can celebrate my VTuber anniversary, which would be is going to be the same day as Tuesday next week. I don't really have much else to say, actually. I thought I would have more. Thank you guys. Thank you all for coming who was here in the game. Just going to take a photo.
Good to be here. Always fun.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Yeah. In a moment, I won't be visible, but I'll be talking on the it's over there, actually. Yeah, there it is. On the computer. And then I'll figure out who to raid. But for now, exclamation point links in chat, and you get a little link to all my socials, blah, blah, blah. Usually I would say what I'm going to stream next, but obviously nothing for a while. So, I don't know, go hang out with some other streamers. Thank you. I'll miss you too. So yeah, thank you guys for my hand, other hand. Thank you. Thank you guys for playing. I'll be on my computer on my other microphone in a moment, and then we'll rate someone. Bye, gang.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, gang.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Stay safe.
I backflip out of here. Can I do that? No, I can spin. What's spin? This isn't doing anything. Oh wait, it thinks that I'm doing. Then I'm in your avatar. Anyway, I'm going. God, my fucking hand. Why is my hand so buggy? I can't do anything. The game does not want me to let me leave, I think. Jesus fucking Christ.
Just stay with us.
No, I'm not. I'm just fucking. My hands are glitching out so bad. Okay, bye. Goodbye. Okay, go. Hello, I'm in my computer now. Quit. Alright, so, thanks for the stream. Hold on, let me put on my headphones. Ow. Thanks for streaming, wish you good luck with surgery and recovery. Thank you everyone for the good lucksies. Okay, there we go. Whew. Alright, let's find someone to raid. Let's go ahead and raid. bum, bum. Oh, we're gonna raid Goofy Hong, who's playing Fallout. Goofy is wonderful, very fun, very nice. Clown and artist. And I like him a lot. Honk. There we go. The raid message will be it's just gonna be that. It's this. This is the raid message. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you've all had a wonderful time. And I'm gonna miss y'all. I hope I can return to streaming soon, because I really love streaming for you guys. Thank you guys. Bye bye.